Some discoveries are not mysterious because they are unknown, but because they refuse to fit. Ancient ruins, tools, and symbols continue to surface, carrying questions modern explanations struggle to contain. They don't align with accepted timelines. They don't match expected levels of technology. And they don't behave like accidents of nature. The deeper researchers look, the more uncomfortable the questions become. Were ancient societies more capable than we assume? Did knowledge emerge earlier and disappear without a trace? Or are we misreading the past entirely? These are not fantasies or myths, but unresolved puzzles that remain open despite decades of study. And until they are answered, the past remains far less certain than we believe. If the surface of the ancient city of Cyrene once astonished the world with its temples and dazzling white stone plazas, then beneath this earth lies an even greater secret, a system of sub-levels buried deep under the terrace sanctuaries' subterranean layers, connecting a series of sacred temples, ritual chambers, holy wells, and countless other strange structures. This is the place where age-defying construction technology, ancient techniques thought long forgotten, and mystical faith intertwine, creating an underground labyrinth holding mysteries that humanity has yet to fully decipher. What do you think are the hidden secrets behind the ancient construction technology at Cyrene? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Cyrene is an ancient Greek city located in what is now Libya, once a center of knowledge, religion, and art for all of North Africa. The surface of Cyrene is a world of terraces, stepped temple platforms, temples to Apollo, Artemis, Demeter, and more, but few know that beneath these granite foundations lies a complex network of sublevels where every stone, every wall tells a tale of creativity and mystery beyond ordinary understanding. These sublevels are not simply storerooms for goods as in many other ruins, but are systems of ritual chambers, secret corridors, deep wells, and closed rooms reserved only for mysterious religious ceremonies. Notably, many sublevels are so deep as to be almost completely isolated from the world above, forming a separate realm for taboo activities or special rites. What makes the Cyrene Terrace Sanctuary's sublevels one of the most mysterious wonders of the ancient Mediterranean is precisely the age-defying construction mastery of its builders. The walls and vaults of many sublevels were built using large stone blocks, fitted so tightly together that no mortar was needed. These stones were shaped with such precision that only a sheet of paper could fit between their joints, a technique that leaves modern archaeologists awestruck. Under the tremendous weight of the terraces above, the underground structure has not subsided or collapsed for over 2,000 years, enduring earthquakes and the relentless erosion of time. There are deep vaulted chambers and long stairways leading to hidden small rooms, all built with local stone, whose strength is ideal, both resistant to compression and able to repel groundwater. The multi-layered terrace design itself helps to evenly distribute weight down to the lower levels, reducing the risk of collapse. One of the details that sets Cyrene apart is its secret ventilation and airflow system within the sublevels. Though deep underground, many chambers remain well ventilated thanks to concealed air ducts in the walls, ceilings, or running through layers of stone, connecting to hidden vents on the terrace surface or near temple altars. When excavations were carried out, archaeologists discovered stone air pipes or narrow shafts running sinuously through the masonry, ensuring natural airflow. Amazingly, the arrangement of these vents does not weaken the structural integrity of the vaults. On the contrary, many are placed as reinforcing spines, strengthening the structure. This demonstrates that the ancient Cyreneans had mastered principles of physics and aerodynamics at a very high level. Within the sublevels, ritual chambers often contain deep wells or sacred water reservoirs. To prevent infiltration from groundwater or rain, the ancients designed an intricate network of underground drainage channels, miniature aqueducts that led water outside or funneled it to control pits. Some sections of the wall were even lined with waterlogged stone slabs to prevent dampness and keep the foundations dry. Some underground ritual rooms even have primitive water valves that control the flow of water during special ceremonies, evidence of Cyreneans' advanced mechanical and hydraulic engineering far ahead of many other civilizations of their time. The sublevels are not only sites for ritual activity, but also storehouses for treasures, manuscripts, or even forbidden knowledge. Therefore, the underground passage system is guarded by secret doors, concealed stairways, or trapdoors that only open when twisted or pressed at the right spot, akin to medieval code mechanisms, but appearing as early as the 4th century BCE. Records recount the discovery of heavy stone doors that can only be opened from within or are released by shifting a blocking slab at just the right angle, making the most important chambers virtually impregnable to outsiders. Material analysis from the sublevels reveals that the Cyreneans used various kinds of limestone and sandstone rich in local minerals, quarried and transported with sophisticated techniques. Some places also show evidence of stone surfaces being worked with hard metal tools marked by sharp cuts and quality control symbols, raising the question of whether the Cyreneans accessed some advanced metallurgy unknown to the rest of the Mediterranean. In addition to technological prowess, the sub-levels of the terrace sanctuaries are spaces for mystical rites and gripping legends. Many underground chambers are adorned with deep stone reliefs depicting rituals, deities, abstract symbols, or enigmatic motifs never seen outside of the Greek world. There are ritual chambers hidden beneath the Temple of Apollo, containing only a stone altar and small niches in the wall, believed to be places for safeguarding sacred objects or hosting initiation rites solely for high-ranking priests. Blackened soot stains on the ceilings of some ritual rooms point to the presence of holy fires in ceremonies lasting through many centuries. On the corridor walls, many places display symbols and carvings still undeciphered, possibly ritual codes or instructions for the chosen. Many researchers speculate these are secret waymarks or space locks guiding initiates to even deeper rooms where forbidden knowledge, relics, or mysteries are protected from the unworthy. Local legends speak of talking stones that emit sounds during rituals at the full moon, explained as resonant stones placed in special positions to create echoes or supernatural acoustic effects, heightening the sacred atmosphere of mysterious ceremonies beneath the earth. To this day, only a small portion of the sublevel system under the terrace sanctuaries of Cyrene has been excavated. Many areas remain sealed due to collapse risk or preservation needs. No one knows what may yet lie below. Ancient maps and local documents mention hidden passages untouched by human feet, or supreme ritual chambers, even deeper, possibly places where sacred manuscripts, legendary artifacts, or simply utterly secluded spaces for supernatural experiences are concealed. Many modern explorers, when entering the sublevels, have reported strange sensations, chills, the feeling of being watched, inexplicable sounds, and mysterious echoes that modern science cannot yet fully explain. The Cyrene Terrace Sanctuary's sublevels are a living museum of age-defying construction techniques, passionate religious faith, and the sophistication of ancient people blending material and spiritual worlds. Every stone wall, every underground room is not only a physical product, but a testament to scientific thought, creativity, an absolute reverence for nature and unseen forces. The greatest question remains: who truly invented these technologies and techniques? Was it the independent knowledge of the Cyreneans, or the product of some older civilization, a mysterious teacher who passed it down? And how long will it take for modern humanity to fully decipher the secrets buried beneath Cyrene's cold limestone layers? There are ancient structures that are not just relics, but also timeless enigmas where history, architecture, military strategy, and legend intersect, layered like strata of stone. The Bosra Roman theatre, an onyx gem in the heart of the Syrian desert, is one such symbol. A magnificent Roman theatre that over the course of many centuries of upheaval was transformed into a sturdy fortress, and even today its secrets of conversion from an artistic venue into an unassailable stronghold have yet to be fully deciphered. In your opinion, what techniques or secrets might have enabled ancient builders to convert an entertainment theatre into a solid military fortress without collapsing the original structure? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Bosra is an ancient city that once served as the capital of the Roman province of Arabia and was located on the legendary Silk Road, a crossroads of great civilizations, such as Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic. The marks of these eras are deeply imprinted on its architecture, especially the magnificent Roman theatre, built in the 2nd century with a capacity of nearly 15,000 people. When war and turmoil arose, the theatre was transformed into a solid fortress, continuing to stand as a symbol of history through many centuries. Before becoming a fortress, the Bosra theatre was already a technical marvel of the Roman era, distinguished by its perfectly semicircular structure with rows of stone seats, arranged evenly like waves, and a high, thick scaena fronds stage wall. The system of curved corridors, ambulacra stairways, arches, and interwoven stone staircases optimized the flow of people moving throughout the theatre space. The entire structure was built from characteristic black basalt stone, which provided exceptional strength, ensuring lasting solidity and effectively withstanding the harsh erosion of the desert climate. These outstanding features unintentionally laid the ideal foundation for converting Bosra theatre from a center of artistic entertainment into a solid military fortress in later times. Around the 12th to 13th centuries, as fierce battles between Crusaders and Islamic powers intensified the need to defend, Bosra reached its peak. Instead of building a new fortress, the rulers ingeniously repurposed the existing Roman theatre into a medieval stronghold, both conserving resources and reviving an architectural symbol. This transformation was far from simple. Converting an entertainment venue into a military bastion required a kind of architectural surgery, raising numerous questions about how the ancients exploited corridors, staircases, and arches for defense, as well as how they managed to add walls, towers, and armories without collapsing the original structure, which had been designed for audiences rather than soldiers. They also had to ensure that the new defensive system could withstand siege engines, projectiles, and even the crude cannons of that era. All of this remains a mystery, as there are very few detailed records. Most knowledge comes only from archaeological traces and legends. The key to the conversion lay in maximizing the existing Roman structure. Curved corridors and backstage rooms, originally meant for spectators, became underground passageways, shelters, and supply routes. The tiers of seating were transformed into stepped trenches for soldiers to move quickly and transport ammunition to higher positions, making it easier to shoot arrows and hurl stones at attackers below. The theatre's thick walls, once used for acoustics, now became ideal barriers, against bombardment, reinforced with additional basalt stones, tightly bonded to the old structure in a form of architectural parasitism. Watchtowers were built directly on existing access points, taking advantage of their height, while the main gates were carefully placed for easy control, sometimes even wrapping towers around columns for added strength. Furthermore, many backstage rooms and corridors were converted into granaries, armories, and hideouts in case of siege, with some tunnels stretching beyond the theater to enable supply runs or retreats. There is even a theory that secret passages connected the lowest levels of the theater to nearby neighborhoods, significantly boosting defensive capabilities, though these have yet to be fully excavated and confirmed. After conversion, the Bosra theater became a fortress within a fortress, the outer walls solid, the interior a labyrinth of corridors, hidden rooms, and layered tiers of seating, stacked like a mousetrap, making it extremely difficult for invaders to control the entire space, even if they breached the outer defenses. This was achieved thanks to the thickness of the walls and the division of space with numerous small passages, narrow stairs, and hidden nooks, allowing defenders to appear unexpectedly at various locations. One major enigma is how the builders managed to layer new walls atop the original architecture without causing the theater to collapse. Archaeological evidence shows they used flexible joints, a technique of bonding stones with special mortar that could absorb shocks from bombardment while firmly attaching the new walls to the old stone core. Some fortress walls were constructed in multiple layers, the outermost of basalt, the middle of lightweight filler, and the innermost of the old wall, creating a cushioning effect to absorb impact. Yet almost no detailed technical records about this conversion survive. Most of what we know comes from legend and oral tradition. This has led to many theories. Perhaps medieval Arab engineers had access to Roman technical manuals, or they possessed unique secrets for bonding basalt with special mortar. Or maybe it was local craftsmen, Roman prisoners, or secret artisans who executed this transformation. Architectural evidence reveals a fusion of Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic styles, but the true method of conversion remains a profound mystery. Today, the Bosra Roman theater is a lasting symbol of the intersection between culture and warfare, art and defense, creativity and endurance, a place where a magnificent entertainment venue transformed into a silent warrior, holding strong through many turbulent centuries. Standing in the round stage of Bosra, gazing up at the thick walls and winding corridors, one cannot help but ask how many more secrets of conversion techniques and ancient intelligence still lie beneath these somber black stones. Hidden beneath the scorching sun of the Omani desert, Bahla Fort stands as a timeless testament to ancient ingenuity and intellect. Within this complex of ancient walls, the mudbrick core, the heart made of earth and straw, astonishes archaeologists and modern engineers alike, shrouded in mysteries that have remained unsolved for centuries. Under the searing sunlight, each wall of mudbrick seems to preserve the breath of the past, concealing stories, techniques, and legends that humanity today can only speculate about through the tiniest cracks in the fortress's corners. Do you think the mysteries of Bahla Fort's mudbrick core will ever be solved in the future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Bahla Fort, recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, is among the oldest forts in the Middle East. Yet the most extraordinary part, the soul of the entire complex, is the mudbrick core. Unlike other forts built with solid stone or traditional fired bricks, Bahla Fort relies on humble mudbricks, handcrafted from earth, water, and straw, then compressed layer by layer to form walls up to 3 meters thick. The strange thing is, despite desert winds, sandstorms, and centuries exposed to harsh weather, this mudbrick core stands firm, defying all conventional physical laws. No ancient document pinpoints exactly who first laid the foundations of Bahla Fort, nor does anyone truly know the artisans who molded the mudbrick core. Some sources claim the fort is over 7 centuries old, yet evidence suggests the core might be even older, possibly stretching back a millennium. Local legends say Bahla Fort was erected by sorcerers people possessing knowledge and powers far beyond ordinary folk. Some even whisper that this core holds magic within, allowing it to endure so long in such an unstable land. If we only considered the simple building materials, Bahla Fort probably wouldn't have become so renowned. What truly confounds archaeologists, engineers, and scientists for decades are the construction techniques applied to the mudbrick core of this fortress, methods that far surpass modern understanding, to the point where at times they seem almost inexplicable. The mudbricks used for the core are not merely a mixture of earth and water left to dry in the sun. Instead, they are carefully selected from mineral-rich soil, kneaded together with finely cut golden straw to increase binding strength, and then compacted repeatedly layer by layer with mysterious tools whose traces have yet to be found anywhere else in the region. What is truly astonishing is that modern analysis has revealed the presence of unusual additives in the composition of Bahla's mudbricks, which grant the material superior heat resistance, water repellency, and resistance to mold. As a result, many sections of the wall, despite having endured for centuries without restoration, have not collapsed or decayed, even though the desert ground beneath is constantly contracting and shifting. Beyond that, the Bahla mudbrick core features an extraordinarily sophisticated, multi-layered structure with alternating layers of materials forming a matrix that distributes weight, prevents rainwater from seeping in, and minimizes the risk of cracking. Notably, the thickness of these layers is not uniform. Some areas are 2 to 3 meters thick, others thinner and curved, to fit the overall architectural design, evidence of meticulous calculations intended to optimize load-bearing and insulation for the entire fortress. The phenomenon of these mudbrick layers bonding so tightly without any industrial adhesive continues to astonish modern engineers, for even with the application of advanced geoscanning and chemical analysis, scientists still cannot fully explain why the Bahla Fort core remains so solidly locked together. In the harsh climate of the Omani Desert, where the temperature difference between day and night is dramatic and sudden rains can destroy ordinary mudbrick constructions, the Bahla core is designed with an ingenious natural ventilation system. Hidden air vents and channels within the walls allow air to circulate, balance the temperature, and prevent moisture from building up. When heavy rains fall, water follows tiny crevices out of the structure instead of seeping deep into the core. No one knows exactly how ancient architects calculated this system. Some theories suggest they possessed advanced physical knowledge far ahead of their time, while others believe it was the result of intuition and secret wisdom passed down through generations. Even more remarkable, Bahla's mudbrick core demonstrates extraordinary resistance to earthquakes and subsidence, despite Oman experiencing many minor earthquakes and its sandy ground being prone to deformation. The fortress core has remained upright for centuries. Modern research has discovered that the core's foundation was laid upon a mesh of pebbles that help distribute force and dampen vibrations, combined with natural expansion joints packed with clay which flexibly adapt to the weather, a technique that many modern structures have only recently begun to adopt. For this reason, even with today's advanced machinery and technology, restoration projects at Bahla Fort still struggle greatly to accurately recreate the original mudbrick core, forcing many engineers to concede that the essential construction secrets have been lost over time, turning Bahla Fort mudbrick core into one of humanity's most impenetrable and enigmatic architectural wonders. Deep within the mudbrick core lies a labyrinthine network of passageways, small rooms layered like a maze. Some rooms are tightly sealed, blocked by massive stones or special mudbrick. No one has dared to open them for fear of collapse. A few rooms that have been investigated have yielded strange artifacts, ancient pottery, bizarre figurines, even traces of religious or magical rites once performed there. No one can say what deeper mysteries may remain hidden in the unexplored heart of Bahla. From ancient times, the people of Bahla have whispered stories of strange occurrences within the fortress, fleeting white figures at night, mysterious echoes from deep within the walls, or an eerie chill when entering the core. It is said that this very core was where ancient sorcerers performed rituals to bind spirits and protect Bahla from invaders. Several archaeological teams who dug deep here also reported unusual incidents, machines suddenly failing compasses, spinning uncontrollably for no apparent reason. Perhaps no fort in Oman or even the Middle East has preserved its core so intact despite enduring wars, harsh weather, and the passing of centuries. Many experts believe that the combination of mysterious construction techniques, environmental factors, legends, and the faith of the local community have miraculously allowed Bahla Fort to survive across generations. Even as modern construction technology advances, the Bahla Fort mudbrick core remains an unsolved puzzle for scholars. Each new study uncovers more questions about the ingenuity and timeless wisdom of its ancient builders. Perhaps the true secrets of Bahla's mudbrick core will never be fully revealed, but that very mystery continues to inspire all who are fascinated by history, archaeology, and the world's enduring enigmas. Jabal al-Akhdar, meaning Green Mountain in Arabic, emerges as a lush oasis amidst the arid sands of northern Oman, a place where not only the climate is special, but also where countless technical heritages of ancient humanity are preserved. Amidst the scenery of deep valleys, towering limestone mountains, fragrant rose gardens, and barley terraces, few would suspect that beneath these rocky layers lies one of the most magnificent and mysterious underground engineering systems: falaj tunnels, subterranean water conduits, qanats with thousands of years of history. Yet behind the seemingly simple irrigation project facade, the falaj of Jabal al-Akhdar is the crystallization of human intellect, geological, technical, mathematical knowledge, and the daring of those who face the harshest natural conditions. Especially up to the 21st century, the true secrets behind creating these tunnels, from pinpointing the water source, excavating through hard limestone, to calculating the ideal gradient for water flow, remain major, unanswered questions that challenge even modern scientists. In your opinion, what knowledge or techniques did our ancestors use to overcome the harsh challenges of stone mountains and time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The falaj system in Jabal al-Akhdar is not merely made up of straight or winding ditches, but is actually a dense network of mountain-piercing tunnels running deep within the earth for many kilometers, connecting underground aquifers and then delivering water to each garden and field on the plateau. Notably, most of these tunnels use absolutely no modern reinforcement materials, no cement, no steel, no concrete, no timber support systems, but instead take advantage of the natural rock structure itself. The limestone in Jabal al-Akhdar is both hard and prone to fracture, yet it also offers strong cohesion and excellent natural water conveyance. Thus, these falaj simultaneously leverage geology while minimizing collapse risk, a minimalist approach in material, but one that is extremely complex in design thinking. Amazingly, many tunnels have stood firm for centuries, surviving earthquakes, flash floods, and natural erosion. Sections stretching hundreds of meters in darkness remain ventilated, ensuring a constant uninterrupted flow, clear evidence that the ancients understood both structure and the load-bearing limits of the mountain's core. The key to falaj success lies in the ability to identify underground water sources and design optimal tunnels for year-round, steady flow. But imagine thousands of years ago with no modern surveying tools, no electronic compasses, and no geophysical exploration equipment. How did the ancients of Jabal al-Akhdar know the location of each aquifer lying tens of meters beneath thick rock or chart, where the water flowed, originated, and finally emerged? Many theories suggest that ancient inhabitants relied on signs in vegetation, green clusters on mountains, vigorous plant growth in small valleys, as well as observing geological phenomena, fissures, tiny trickles seeping from rock faces, humidity in caves to identify potential sites. But surface clues alone were insufficient. True precision required deep understanding of stratigraphy, groundwater flow, and rock structure, plus years of generational experience. Some falaj tunnels were located by listening for the sound of water echoing from deep underground, or by testing multiple sites, drilling vertically until water was struck before officially excavating the main tunnel. Once a water source was located, the next secret was how to dig a tunnel through hard limestone while ensuring the correct gradient, not too steep, which would cause water to rush and strip away silt, nor too flat, which could result in stagnant water or flow back into the aquifer. The optimal slope for falaj is usually only from 1 to 2 per thousand, meaning over hundreds of meters, the elevation drop might be only a few dozen centimeters. Achieving this by eye, without leveling tools, lasers, or tilt meters, is a true feat. Some researchers believe the ancients used long water tubes, measuring rods, or weighted strings with manual feel to gauge slope. Whatever the method, the result was a remarkably harmonious fusion of ancient mathematics, field experience, and perhaps a touch of genius intuition. Throughout the length of the falaj, one often finds a series of vertical shafts, cylindrical holes drilled straight from the surface to the underground tunnel. These serve vital roles for surveying, checking direction and depth during construction, enabling quick worker access to each section, removing earth and rock, and ensuring proper ventilation to prevent suffocation. Beyond that, as tunnels pass through various strata, these shafts help to quickly detect groundwater changes, stabilize the flow, or deal with minor collapses during construction. The structure of these shafts also reflects material understanding. In many places, the shaft base is lined with stone slabs or built as a tube within a tube to prevent earth and rock from falling and clogging the system. In some renowned falaj shafts are linked in chains, forming a technical inspection axis running parallel to the water tunnel, much like utility corridors in modern engineering. Not simply a matter of digging to get water, each falaj segment must be calculated so that the flow is stable all year, neither overflowing during rainy seasons nor drying up during drought. This demands forecasting aquifer output, rainfall, and infiltration rates, all based on observation, generational experience, and possibly hidden recording methods never written down. Folk legends say falaj builders were masters versed not just in engineering, but also climate and hydrology, which allowed them to find and lead water to the village. The arrangement of intakes, overflow outlets, baffles, and distribution ditches all reflect rigorous flow control thinking. When water rises too high in the rainy season, overflow outlets automatically regulate to prevent tunnel breaches. When water is low, gates close or open to prioritize critical farmland. Everything operates by falaj law, strict yet fair, reflecting the wisdom and flexibility of traditional engineering. A special aspect of Jabal al-Akhdar's falaj is that most have survived and functioned for hundreds, even thousands of years. What keeps them from silting up, collapsing, or drying out? In part thanks to falaj keepers, the maintenance craftsmen responsible for inspection, dredging, troubleshooting, all passed down father to son. Their work is anything but simple, knowing precisely which segments silt quickly, which spots may collapse, when to dredge or replace stones. Many craftsmen know the underground map of each system, can predict water rerouting after heavy rain or forecast blockages just by a change in flow sound. None of these secrets are written, they are the result of generations' accumulated experience and ceaseless observation. A major mystery is the falaj technique in Jabal al-Akhdar, indigenous or learned and adapted from other civilizations. Some archaeologists see clear parallels with Persian Qanat systems, Egyptian water tunnels, even Mesopotamian irrigation models. But applying them to such rugged limestone terrain, with the depth and length seen at Jabal al-Akhdar, is unique, demonstrating extraordinary adaptability and local innovation. There are no written records or blueprints, only silent water running under the mountains, like the whispers of the past, awaiting decoding. Today, many falaj systems in Jabal al-Akhdar still function, supplying clean water and sustaining communities in the parched land. Some falaj have been recognized by UNESCO as World Heritage symbols of human ingenuity, adaptability, and resilience. The knowledge, construction, and operational secrets of the falaj, though largely veiled by time, continue to inspire engineers, researchers, and all those who love to explore human history. Jabal al-Akhdar falaj tunnels are not just ancient irrigation works, but a testament to human intellect and extraordinary creativity in the face of harsh nature. Beneath each layer of rock, there may still lie secrets of mathematics, geology, and engineering waiting to be discovered, a reminder that humanity's greatest value is in endless knowledge and innovation. If Egypt takes pride in the pyramids of Giza and Rome boasts the Colosseum, then Chellah quietly possesses a heritage that makes the entire archaeological world marvel in awe, the Chellah subterranean necropolis. Yet what makes this monument extraordinary is not merely its antiquity, but rather the ahead-of-its-time mysteries of its subterranean construction, a technical achievement that remains unexplained even today. In your opinion, what is it about Chellah's underground construction technology that makes it so advanced, even modern scientists can't fully explain it? Don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments below. Hidden beneath layers of earth and rock in the southeast of Rabat's capital lies an underground world of tangled passageways, burial chambers, and ritual vaults. This system is not simply a resting place for the dead, but a living laboratory of North African ancient technical ingenuity. The corridors interconnect in multiple tiers, some just high enough for a person, others opening into towering arches resembling council chambers. Each stone here bears the hallmark of meticulous calculation down to the millimeter, from material selection, spatial arrangement, to structural endurance and resistance to the ravages of time, climate, and earthquakes. Modern geological surveys have revealed that the Chellah necropolis was constructed atop a rather unstable foundation at the intersection of two subterranean water flows, and in an area frequently affected by minor earthquakes. Yet despite these challenges, the entire underground system has stood firm for thousands of years. The secret seems to lie in the extraordinary construction techniques employed by ancient builders. Massive stone blocks were fitted together so precisely, without the need for mortar, that even a sheet of paper could not be slipped between them. At critical stress points, the builders skillfully arranged the stones in offset herringbone layers, which helped to distribute weight in multiple directions and minimized the risk of collapse. Between the large stone layers, they placed a core of small stones and gravel bound with a special organic mortar, its composition still unidentified, which absorbed vibrations and reduced shock during seismic activity. The Roman-style load-bearing arches throughout Chellah demonstrate astonishing perfection, as well with the curvature of each arch meticulously calibrated to disperse pressure from above down the sides of the tunnel walls. This ingenious design ensures that even when the soil overhead shifts, the structural integrity of the arches remains intact. One of the most critical challenges for any underground necropolis is water seepage and dampness factors that have caused countless ancient structures to deteriorate over time. However, Chellah managed to thoroughly solve this problem with an exceptionally advanced and sophisticated subterranean drainage system. Multi-level drainage channels were arranged in parallel beneath the floors, interconnected by small skylights that efficiently directed water out to the nearby Bu Regreg River. What's remarkable is that the slope of each trench was precisely calculated, ensuring that water never accumulates anywhere inside the necropolis. Beyond just waterproofing, Chellah also features dozens of small ventilation holes cleverly concealed in the ceiling or in hidden corners of the stone walls. Thanks to this ventilation system, natural air circulation is consistently maintained, keeping the underground space dry and minimizing mold and musty odors, something that most other ancient tombs in the Mediterranean region could hardly achieve. One of the aspects that has sparked considerable debate among archaeologists regarding Chellah is the composition of the binding mortar used here. Samples of mortar taken from Chellah, when analyzed, were found to contain organic compounds never before identified in any other structures of the same era. Some even revealed traces of extracts from native plants. This has led to the hypothesis that the ancient builders of Chellah knew how to blend biological waterproofing agents from tree resin leaves, or perhaps even a special type of sea algae, creating a mortar that was not only exceptionally strong, but also had outstanding moisture resistance. Furthermore, in some sections of the tunnels at Chellah, the outermost stone layers were noted to be coated with a thin, grayish film. When illuminated under ultraviolet light, this layer emits a faint glow, suggesting that it may have been treated with a natural mineral solution to inhibit mold growth and enhance the structure's durability over the centuries. Not only does the Chellah subterranean necropolis feature superior construction techniques, but it also stands out for its scientific spatial planning. The main burial chambers are positioned at the center, surrounded by auxiliary rooms and ritual spaces, an arrangement that optimizes space while protecting the core from water-toxic gases and earthquakes. Notably, many false passageways and stone doors were designed to mislead intruders, further enhancing the safety and mystery of the necropolis. In addition to its technical achievements, the Chellah subterranean necropolis also reflects spiritual depth through stone motifs such as double spirals and eternal knots symbolizing protective energy flows around the tombs. Many load-bearing pillars are carved with animal figures, representing both divine guardianship and enhanced structural durability. The Chellah subterranean necropolis stands as a testament to the unique convergence of Berber, Roman, Arab, and Phoenician cultures clearly reflected in the advanced construction solutions applied here. The Roman-style arches showcase the Western art of refined force distribution, while the thick, solid stone walls, built with Berber techniques, are remarkable for their heat resistance and waterproofing. In addition, the characteristic air ducts of Islamic architecture keep the underground spaces well ventilated, and Phoenician water trapping methods optimize water resources and control humidity throughout the complex. This harmonious fusion of Eastern and Western architectural excellence has turned Chellah into a truly unique ancient underground construction manual transcending the boundaries of its era. Later generations have repeatedly attempted to recreate Chellah's technology but have never fully succeeded. Modern engineers remain astonished by the resilience of its vaults. Many remain uncracked and unbowed despite thousands of years and harsh weather. Some rooms even self-clean, thanks to their ingenious airflow, a marvel even by modern building standards. Perhaps the greatest allure of Chellah's subterranean necropolis is not merely the ancient tombs, artifacts, or mysterious legends, but the almost unbelievable existence of a vast underground complex that defies all theories of ancient engineering. Despite extensive scientific analysis and reconstruction, Chellah remains technology without explanation, a reminder that ancient knowledge was not inferior and may even have been ahead of its time. Hidden atop perilous cliffs in southern China, the Lingnan ancient cliff granaries are not merely a testament to human ingenuity, they are the ultimate challenge left behind for all generations to come. From these houses in the sky, countless mysteries about construction techniques, uncanny preservation abilities, and above all, the true identity of their builders, still quietly defy every attempt at explanation by history or science. Shrouded in the mist of time and the silence of the cliffs, the Lingnan ancient cliff granaries stand as an unfinished epic, where past legend and endless questions intertwine, compelling anyone who beholds them to ask who were the true owners of these marvels suspended in midair. In your opinion, are the Lingnan ancient cliff granaries the work of an anonymous local community, or do they belong to a power or dynasty that has been erased from history? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Amidst narrow valleys and sheer cliffs along the Yangtze River, or in the rugged mountains of Guangxi and Guangdong, hundreds of granaries with curved, tiled roofs, ironwood walls, bamboo bridges, and stone supports are precariously built at heights of several dozen meters, sometimes as high as 30 to 80 meters above the ground, with no stairs, no paths, and no traces of mechanical equipment that could reach them. When gazing up from below, these tiny houses appear blurred in the morning mist, like clouds stuck against the cliffs. Even today, with all kinds of machinery and modern climbing equipment, surveying and accessing these granaries is still a major challenge. Yet thousands of years ago, the Lingnan people accomplished this in a way so strange it seems illogical. Who were they, and why did they go to such lengths to build an impregnable food storage system amidst such fierce nature? The materials used to build these granaries seem simple: ironwood, old bamboo, mountain stone, and jungle rattan. But when combined using mortise and tenon joints, anchors, deeply embedded supports into rock crevices or hand-drilled holes, they form an astoundingly stable structure, surviving for centuries, withstanding earthquakes, floods, and endless forest rains without rotting or collapsing. A system of small ventilation holes along the granary's body creates a natural airflow, expelling moisture and protecting rice millet and corn from dampness and pest infestation. Some granaries have even been found with grain seeds, hundreds of years old, inside that when sown today, still sprout. Proof of the structure's mysterious preservation ability. But the question that haunts researchers the most remains who built them and for what purpose. There is not a single official document or record in major historical texts such as the Records of the Grand Historian, the Book of Han, the Geographical Treatise, or the Nanyu Chronicles that mentions the author or the specific reason for the existence of these cliff granaries. All information about their origin comes only from local legends, mysterious symbols carved on the rocks, or hypotheses of modern scholars. Some believe these are the heritage of ancient ethnic minorities such as the Bui Yao and Zhuang, communities that once practiced slash-and-burn agriculture, needing a safe place to store grain away from wild animals and thieves. Others link these granaries to the turbulent periods of the Qin Han or Nanyue dynasties, when these sky shelters were both emergency food stores and places to hide treasures and weapons for insurgent groups or resistance forces. Some granaries show traces of multiple renovations, expansions, and reinforcements, proving continuous use across many generations. Yet there is no consistency in structure, decoration, door-mark style, or carved symbols. This further puzzles researchers. Could it be that the owners of these granaries always changed, or is it just a history shrouded in darkness under layers of the dust of time? On many cliffs near the granaries, people have found lines of ancient Chinese script and strange symbols like fish eyes, seashells, divine bird emblems, even arrows pointing directions, or mysterious number sequences carved into the rock. Locals say those are codes to transmit messages among tribal leaders or to indicate secret granary entrances that outsiders can't recognize. Yet when modern linguists and semioticians study them, most of these symbols remain undecipherable. Some ancient scripts do not belong to the Chinese system or any officially recognized script, possibly being local ancient characters that have been lost. Some experts even theorize these symbols are keys to a secret communication system of ancient underground societies, with the cliff granaries as the hub of secret activities. No one knows exactly who the first owners of the Lingnan ancient cliff granaries were. Radiocarbon dating of materials inside shows that some granaries date back over 1,500 years, coinciding with the era of the Northern and Southern dynasties, while others are only about 300 to 400 years old. Some historians propose a grand hypothesis. Perhaps these granaries were once part of an ancient tribal confederation where leaders shared food supplies during wars and natural disasters, or established the region's first collective food banks in southern China. More extreme theories claim that these were secret supply points for major uprisings, such as the Namsan uprising or Ming dynasty, peasant revolts, or even hiding places for treasures and weapons of defeated dynasties. Strangely, there are no records or legends that clearly identify the locations, names, or ultimate fate of these first owners. It seems that through generations, the identities of the builders and managers of these cliff granaries were deliberately erased, turning into an eternal mystery that challenges future generations. Another major mystery: how can these cliff granaries survive the passage of time, despite storms, earthquakes, mountain winds, and high humidity? Analyses show the timber was specially treated with smoke plant oil and river water soaking, a preservation technique that modern people still cannot fully recreate. The mortised beams and stone anchors are embedded deep into natural crevices, a perfect blend of nature and human skill. Some theorize that the special cliff positions create a dry microclimate with constant airflow, naturally resisting mold. Yet many sites with harsh weather have granaries that have endured for centuries, leaving conservation experts scratching their heads over the lack of a rational explanation. Many Lingnan cliff granaries remain inaccessible or unstudied in detail because their locations are too treacherous, with landslide and rockfall risks. Local authorities and researchers are still working to explore, restore, and decipher the history, yet layer upon layer of mysteries keep opening up. Could there still be ancient granaries, hidden deep within the cliffs, never before discovered? Are the symbols and ancient objects inside codes to a greater historical secret of southern China? The answer remains elusive, challenging all efforts at modern scientific explanation. On the southern edge of Tunisia, amid the arid lands scorched by the sun for centuries, rises one of North Africa's most spectacular and enigmatic relics, Ksar Ouled Soltane. More than just an ancient fortress, this site stands as a symbol of endurance and creative genius, transcending time of humanity's defiance against a harsh natural world. The granary towers, stacked layer upon layer like gigantic honeycombs, never fail to astonish and intrigue every newcomer. How did people of the past manage to build such a bizarre, sturdy, and complex structure? What do you think is the greatest mystery behind the construction techniques of Ksar Ouled Soltane granary towers? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Viewed from above, Ksar Ouled Soltane is unlike any other structure on Earth. Hundreds of small rooms, known as ghurfa, are stacked upon each other, forming tiers, each level linked by steep stairways and narrow corridors. The high towers rise between the red-brown ground and the deep blue sky, looking like desert honeycombs amidst endless waves of sand and wind. Each room once stored grain food or the precious assets of Berber families, protecting their harvests from sandstorms, wild animals, and most importantly, the roaming raiding bands of the desert. Yet what truly amazes is not just the architectural form, but the way this entire structure was built, using techniques that to this day archaeologists, engineers, and researchers have not fully explained. While Egypt is famous for its monumental pyramids built from massive stone blocks, and Rome prides itself on durable stone domes that have endured for millennia, Ksar Ouled Soltane represents an entirely different architectural school, one rooted in finesse, flexibility, and extraordinary adaptation to the harsh desert environment. What makes it especially remarkable is that every granary room staircase and corridor here was built completely by hand, using readily available materials such as clay, stone, and palm wood, without any mortar or modern adhesives. Simply by stacking stones and layering clay, the walls and ceilings remain solid, bearing the weight of many upper stories without collapsing or deforming over centuries of existence. The greatest question that has intrigued generations is how could ancient builders calculate load-bearing and design stable structures without measuring devices' physical formulas or three-dimensional drawings as we have today? According to local legends, the builders of Ksar Ouled Soltane were members of ancient Berber tribes who possessed secret construction techniques passed down orally through generations. As these tribes disbanded or migrated, those techniques gradually disappeared, leaving behind unresolved mysteries. Today, even when young masons are taught the craft, they still cannot replicate the sturdy multi-story structures built by previous generations. No one can explain why the walls are so thick, why the stacked levels do not sink or crack, or how the storage rooms always remain cool during the day and dry during the humid desert nights. Another feature that makes Ksar Ouled Soltane extraordinary is the mysterious self-cooling and pest resistance inside the storage rooms. Even when outside temperatures can reach 50 degrees Celsius, the interiors remain stable, with a difference of more than 15 degrees compared to outside, preserving grain seeds and food from spoilage. Some studies suggest that the multi-layered honeycomb structure, thick clay walls, and seemingly random ventilation slits create a natural convection system, keeping air flowing and preventing mold growth. Yet why even the rooms on the upper levels, right beneath the roof and directly exposed to sunlight, remain cool is still an unsolved mystery. Many Western scientists have admitted that if one were to dismantle part of the Ksar and rebuild it, it is highly unlikely to replicate the original effectiveness. Furthermore, each Ksar in Tunisia possesses a unique, unrepeatable structure, and Ksar Ouled Soltane is no exception. With hundreds of storage rooms, nearly no two are exactly alike, and no staircase repeats the same angle. The stacked rooms curve naturally, with the terrain forming grain towers rising from the heart of the desert. Many experts call this organic architecture, as every line flows gently with the landscape and the seasonal climate. Some rooms are accessible only via hidden stone steps or small wall niches, while certain corridors are concealed from direct sunlight to provide heat protection and security against thieves. Finally, another layer of mystery lies in the building materials themselves. Where was the clay for the Ksar sourced? Was it blended with special minerals to withstand rain, wind, and pests? Recent analyses show that the local clay is rich in silicates and natural calcium. But all attempts to recreate the original mix, with ratios of water, ash straw, and palm resin, have yet to achieve the results of the original structures. Locals still share that after building the Ksar, they would hold a secret ceremony using spirit water, a mixture of herbs and special plant resins, to pour over the walls, bonding the desert spirit to the building, helping it endure the test of time. While this is just a legend, the extraordinary durability of Ksar Ouled Soltane remains a mystery modern science has yet to unravel. Delving into each tier of the Ksar, you realize this was not just a granary. The network of corridors, hidden doors, and winding staircases allowed inhabitants to defend themselves, evade attackers, or secretly move supplies and valuables between levels when raided. From the 15th to the 19th centuries, Berber clans used this place as a stronghold, a site for living, working, and defense. Some passages are believed to connect to other Ksars or lead out into the desert, designed for evacuation during sieges. Yet most of these routes have been buried or collapsed with time, surviving only in legend. It is the strange architecture and surreal colors of the Ksar that led it to become the setting for the planet Tatooine in the Star Wars film series. The tiers of granary towers, the winding stairways like pathways of another world, give the impression of a futuristic structure, not a centuries-old relic in the desert. Many tourists visit Tunisia simply to see this alien village with their own eyes, only to realize that in real life, Ksar Ouled Soltane is even more bizarre and mysterious than any movie scene. Ksar Ouled Soltane is not only a testament to human creativity and resilience in the harsh desert, but also an unsolved mystery of the ancient world. To this day, scientists have yet to accurately reconstruct its unusual building techniques or unlock the secrets of its durability, insulation, and unique materials. Every wall, stairway, and dark corridor in the Ksar raises the question: did our ancestors possess knowledge beyond modern understanding? No matter the answer, Ksar Ouled Soltane Granary Towers remain an eternal inspiration and challenge for those passionate about unraveling humanity's mysteries. Within the maze of heritage in ancient Nîmes lies a relic that most travelers overlook, yet for centuries it served as the lifeline of the entire city, the Castellum Divisorium. Unlike the proud Roman arenas or the sunlit grandeur of Pont du Gard, the Castellum Divisorium quietly conceals a brilliant water distribution system, a stone brain that even modern times must admire in awe. What's most remarkable is this: after nearly 2 millennia, the mysteries of how the Castellum operated, divided and sustained the city's water supply remain a formidable riddle defying every effort at explanation. Each generation of archaeologists adds new unanswered theories, making this monument a gateway into the secret treasury of Roman genius. The more we explore, the more wonder and confusion it inspires. What do you think was the secret behind the Castellum Divisorium's mysterious water system? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Today, when speaking of Roman water distribution structures, most remain only as vague traces or have disappeared altogether. The Castellum Divisorium is one of the very rare examples that survives almost intact, providing archaeologists with a clear view of ancient design and operational techniques. Its structure is very simple, yet extremely optimized: a circular stone basin nearly 6 meters in diameter, over 1.4 meters deep, with thick, solid walls, surrounded by a semicircular water channel and 10 outlet holes spaced evenly like the lobes of a brain. Each hole is the starting point for a separate pipe system originally lined with lead or terracotta to carry water throughout the city. This level of preservation makes Castellum Divisorium a gem of archaeology, the crucial clue for decoding the mystery of Roman water distribution, a topic that has spurred debate for centuries. The biggest question haunting archaeologists and modern engineers alike: how could the Romans nearly 2,000 years ago regulate the flow of water so that every district of Nîmes, from the central fountains, public baths and temples, to even the farthest residential neighborhoods, received just enough water at the right pressure, all without electronics pumps or modern mechanical valves? Theoretically, to distribute water evenly through 10 outlets, one must precisely calculate differences in pressure flow rate and resistance in each pipe, while also managing potential blockages and water loss. Even with modern simulation software, this remains a complex challenge. When scientists ran flow simulations on reconstructed diagrams, the results were astounding. The speed and amount of water distributed at each outlet were almost identical, even though the pipes led to districts with different length slopes and loads. The error margin was extraordinarily low, nearly reaching ideal values. Was there some lost secret involved? Did the Romans possess measuring or calculation tools we have yet to discover? There are many strange, yet not impossible, hypotheses regarding the operating mechanism of the Castellum Divisorium. Some scholars suggest that the outlet holes of this structure may once have been fitted with manual adjustment valves made of wood, lead, or bronze, designed to control the amount of water for each individual branch. However, to this day, no definitive physical evidence has been found, and even if such valves did exist, coordinating and operating them evenly on a daily basis would have been an enormous challenge. Another theory proposes that Roman engineers applied experimental physical laws accumulated over hundreds of years, adjusting the size, curvature, and material of each water pipe in a kind of handcrafted chemistry, thus enabling the automatic balancing of water flow. Each pipe segment may even have been constructed differently in thickness or shape, or fitted with tiny internal obstacles to subtly and effectively reduce pressure. Furthermore, an even more intriguing hypothesis suggests that the Castellum's distribution system took advantage of biological factors. The Romans may have intentionally cultivated microbial films inside the pipes to limit algae growth or used natural sediment as a kind of biological valve that would automatically regulate water flow depending on the season. For nearly 2 millennia, hundreds of scientists from around the world have excavated, measured, reconstructed, and modeled the Castellum Divisorium system. Yet to this day, no one has put forth a truly convincing, comprehensive explanation of how the Romans managed, balanced, and maintained the perfect operation of this water distribution brain. Each hypothesis only explains part of the mystery, opening new questions. If manual valves were used, how were they synchronized daily? If obstacles or altered pipe structures were involved, how did they manage long-term effects? If biological factors were key, who conceived and maintained such a system for centuries without major breakdowns? Some modern engineers even claim that with today's technology, building a new Castellum Divisorium as stable as the Roman original would be as expensive and complex as constructing a small hydroelectric plant. Another puzzle keeps researchers awake at night. To this day, no one has fully mapped all the pipe branches extending from the Castellum Divisorium. Most of the network remains buried deep beneath Nîmes, beyond the reach of conventional archaeological methods. The scattered pipe segments that have been found reveal extraordinary design laid underground, maintaining stable pressure, protected from external forces, and even capable of self-cleaning thanks to unique reverse slope structures. Some pipe segments even feature natural settling chambers where sediment and debris could collect for easy removal, proving the Romans thought far beyond mere water delivery. During excavations, archaeologists found thick layers of sediment inside the Castellum basin. Analysis revealed ancient microorganisms and unusual chemical components, unlike any found in local natural water sources. This leads to the hypothesis that the Romans may have seeded beneficial microbes into the water system or added anti-algae agents to keep the water clean, a kind of primitive biotechnology. If true, this would make the Castellum Divisorium not only a marvel of engineering, but also a testament to ecological intelligence far ahead of its time. More than 2 millennia have passed, yet the Castellum Divisorium still lies quietly, a stone-thinking machine continually testing the boundaries of human understanding. Each generation of archaeologists, engineers, and historians comes here hoping to touch upon the final answer to its perfect operation, only to return with more new fragments for the unfinished puzzle of its mystery. This is what creates the Castellum Divisorium's immortal allure, a wonder at once familiar and distant, tangible and abstract, embodying all the intellect, ambition, and faith of the ancient Roman civilization, echoing down to our own era. The Castellum Divisorium of Nîmes is not just a waterworks, it is the mysterious artificial brain of ancient Rome, with an operating mechanism that modern people still have not fully deciphered. Its perfectly aligned outlet holes, complex underground pipe network, and strange sediment layers quietly remind us that sometimes the greatest mysteries lie within what appears to be the simplest things, and the Castellum Divisorium will continue to spark human curiosity and admiration for centuries to come. If you only glance at photos of the Mogao caves, you might see a strip of yellowish-brown rock walls dotted with wooden window frames, balconies, and walkways hanging from the cliff like a surreal dreamscape from history. Yet behind that surreal beauty lies one of humanity's greatest enigmas, the cliff-lode system, a structural system that has supported, protected, and prolonged the existence of hundreds of Buddhist monuments for over 1,600 years. This is not just an artistic heritage, but also a riddle of materials and construction technology that modern science still cannot fully decipher. What do you think is the greatest secret that has allowed the Mogao caves and structural system to remain standing strong for thousands of years? Share your thoughts in the comments below. On a stretch of vertical cliffs along the Gobi Desert's edge, where temperatures are extreme and sandstorms always lurking, ancient builders chose this spot to carve out and construct nearly 500 Buddhist caves. These structures were not built on flat ground. Many of the largest caves and giant Buddha statues cling to high elevations so precarious that even modern climbers would hesitate. Transporting materials, organizing construction, and calculating how natural forces would impact hanging floors, wooden beams, and anchors required a level of expertise that still amazes today's engineers. Unlike other cave complexes simply dug deep into mountainsides, Mogao features a series of balconies, floating platforms, and hanging corridors that seem to emerge from the rock face. Why hasn't this system collapsed, toppled by sandstorms, sunken or cracked after so many millennia? The answer lies in its material technology and the mysterious reinforcement mechanisms that have been lost to time. It might seem that wood would quickly rot away in the harsh climate of the Gobi Desert, yet the system of wooden beams and suspended supports at Mogao has defied the laws of decay. Chemical analyses reveal that most of the timber is pine or cypress, two types of trees that are not common along the desert's edge. The journey to transport this wood is the stuff of legend, likely spanning dozens or even hundreds of kilometers from southern Gansu or as far as the Tian Shan Mountains. The wood was selected with great care. Only mature trunks with dense grains and few knots were chosen, and the wood was treated using formulas that remain a mystery to this day. Some records mention that the wood was smoked soaked in ash or even coated in plant resin, but the proportions and mixing methods were never documented. Instead of being fixed to the rock in the usual way, the wood was fitted into deep groove slots and anchor holes carved into the stone, distributing the load evenly in all directions. The joints were both loose and tight, allowing flexibility with temperature changes, while keeping the floors and beams stable even during earthquakes. If it were just ordinary rammed earth, could it really endure for thousands of years? The answer lies in a unique blend. Mogao's earth is not simply mud, but is mixed with rice husks, straw animal hair plant, ash, even cow's milk, and animal blood ingredients that may seem strange but play remarkable roles in making the earth durable, resistant to cracking, impervious to insects, and even able to self-heal small fissures caused by temperature changes. Researchers have also found a special adhesive layer believed by many to be a native tree resin, which hardens when dry, is waterproof yet elastic, and acts as a mystical glue binding wood, earth, and stone together. This is crucial, as relying only on wooden joints or traditional cement would mean thermal expansion and seismic activity would quickly destroy the entire system of suspended floors and stairs. The floating floors, balconies, and corridors at Mogao are supported not just by a single row of beams, but by a double-layered system. The outer layer consists of large beams bearing the main load, while the inner layer is made up of smaller joists spread across the width to distribute the weight to multiple support points. This arrangement not only supports the weight of the floors, Buddha statues, and pilgrims, but also helps absorb shock during earthquakes, a frequent hazard along the Gobi's edge. The anchor bolts are not made of metal, which would rust and expand, but of hardwood or specially grooved stones. When set deep into the cliff, they create friction, and lock the entire beam system in place, making removal extremely difficult. Even if the surrounding stone erodes, the wooden beams remain firmly attached to the cliff's core. In some important caves, traces of a thin layer of glue have been found between the beams and the rock. Analyses show this to be plant resin, possibly pine eucalyptus, or a lost local variety. Once dry, this resin becomes transparent, extremely durable, resistant to mold insects, and highly water-repellent even in the arid desert or during rare storms. In addition, in some locations, fine mineral powder, perhaps slaked lime or powdered stone mixed with brine, has been found covering the resin glue, acting as a protective layer against abrasion, both helping to strengthen the bond and limit mechanical wear over time. What puzzles scientists most is the perfect harmony between organic materials, such as wood resin, straw, animal hair, and blood, and inorganic materials like stone, clay, lime, and mineral salts. This combination does not follow any fixed standard, but instead is adapted to each cave's location, humidity, sun exposure load, and intended use. It seems that each craftsman had their own secret technique, creating a remarkable diversity of ingredients and treatment methods. Especially in caves with large Buddha statues or heavily loaded floating floors, the proportion of plant resin and mineral powder was higher, while smaller structures or stairways relied more on specially treated wood or plant fibers to enhance flexibility and durability. It's not just about materials. The reinforcement mechanism is a masterpiece of utilizing natural rock and crevices as the core of structural support. Craftsmen surveyed each spot, selected suitable rock fissures to embed beams, creating natural anchor points of immense stability, harnessing nature's strength instead of fighting it. Some caves also use a wedge compression technique. The beam is tightly wedged into both ends of a rock fissure, and under the structure's own weight is pressed in even more firmly rather than loosened. This is a force-locking trick. The greater the load, the more stable the structure becomes. Many teams of engineers and conservationists from China, Japan, and the West have tried to reconstruct a small portion of Mogao's support system only to meet with disappointment. When concrete was used, floors quickly cracked from thermal expansion. Modern wood, processed industrially, showed signs of rot and warping after only a few years, unable to grip the rock like the originals. The secret blend of additives remains a black box. No one has successfully replicated it. Analysis of the adhesive on ancient beams has revealed exotic chemical compositions containing organic compounds never found at other contemporary sites. This has led to theories about a secret materials laboratory among Mogao's craftsmen, or even a knowledge exchange network spanning continents, connecting ancient civilizations. One of Mogao's greatest mysteries is the total lack of blueprints or ancient technical records. All knowledge seems to have been transmitted orally or hidden in esoteric teachings and scriptures. Local legends claim that senior craftsmen were sworn to secrecy, forbidden from sharing material secrets with outsiders or passing the full knowledge to any single person, instead splitting it across many generations and branches to preserve the secret forever. Thus, even with modern analytical technology, researchers have only lifted a corner of the veil shrouding Mogao's material and reinforcement secrets. Looking back, the Mogao cliff lode system has not only survived over 16 centuries, but has also endured countless earthquakes, sandstorms, harsh climate changes, and even wars. Many of its wooden components, rammed earth floors, and organic adhesives remain almost intact after thousands of years, still strong enough to support thousands of visitors today. The structure's resilience comes from its flexible, adaptive design during tremors, Beams, anchors, and adhesive layers work together to absorb and distribute force, preventing widespread collapse. The cliff load system of the Mogao caves stands as a testament to the ancient mastery of materials combining organic and inorganic substances with nature itself in a remarkably flexible structure. After more than 16 centuries, Mogao remains a living laboratory that challenges all modern understanding and raises the question, can we ever fully unravel the material and engineering secrets of the past? When mentioning the extraordinary feats of human history, one cannot overlook the siege of Alesia in 52 BC. A decisive battle in the confrontation between Julius Caesar and the confederation of Gaulish tribes led by Vercingetorix. Yet what astonishes historians, engineers, and archaeologists today is not just the unfolding of the battle itself, but also the traces of the rampart system, a dual siege work of unprecedented scale and technique, whose marks remain on French soil to this day. What do you think about the superhuman construction speed of the Alesia ramparts? Do you believe the ancient Romans could really achieve such a feat in just 3 weeks? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In the ancient land of Alesia, modern archaeology has confirmed the existence of sections of ramparts, remnants of a massive system of defensive earthworks that once tightly encircled the ancient city and the entire Gaulish army within. This system consisted of 2 rings. The inner ring, called the circumvallation, served to prevent the Gauls inside the city from escaping or receiving supplies. The outer ring, known as the contravallation, functioned as a defense against reinforcements attempting to break through from outside. The total length of these ramparts reached nearly 20 kilometers, winding around rugged hills and mountains, and included countless deep ditches, obstacles, hidden traps, watchtowers, and checkpoints. Every meter of earth, every log, every stone stands as evidence of a colossal military project described in great detail by Caesar in his memoirs Commentarii de Bello Gallico. But what sparks the most debate and admiration is the unbelievable speed of construction of the entire rampart system. According to Caesar's records, he and more than 80,000 Roman soldiers took less than 3 weeks to complete everything, from digging ditches, building ramparts, erecting towers, scattering caltrops, laying hidden traps, and even constructing underground passages, secret gates, and auxiliary works. The biggest question has hovered for over 2 millennia: how, with rudimentary tools, treacherous terrain, and manpower divided for different tasks, could the Romans complete such a gigantic construction in such a short, illogical amount of time? Modern archaeologists and engineers have attempted to reconstruct the rampart construction process exactly as described by the Romans, which involved digging ditches 2 to 4 meters deep, building earth embankments, driving wooden stakes, transporting stones, and assembling wooden structures. All of these required an enormous amount of manpower and time, not to mention the constant vigilance against attacks from both inside and outside Alesia. Some experts have carried out practical calculations and realized that if a Roman soldier could dig 1 cubic meter of earth per day, then just digging and building the ramparts along the 20-kilometer stretch would already consume tens of thousands of workdays. This does not even account for cutting wood, making caltrops, building towers, constructing roads, reinforcing ditches against groundwater and rain, and managing the entire supply chain of materials such as wood, stone, earth, water, and provisions for tens of thousands of troops. Yet all calculations lead to a controversial conclusion: either Caesar exaggerated this achievement, or the Roman army truly possessed organizational secrets, operational methods, and construction techniques far beyond modern understanding. in other words. This remains an unsolved mystery of ancient history. There are many hypotheses put forward to explain the superhuman construction speed of the rampart system at Alesia, with the most prominent being the exceptional organizational and operational capacity of the Roman army. First, they always knew how to break down tasks and delegate responsibilities optimally. Each centuria or cohort was assigned a specific section of rampart with seamless coordination among commanders, skilled workers, and regular soldiers, forming an efficient assembly line from cutting trees, driving stakes, digging earth, transporting materials, to reinforcement, all executed with strict military discipline. In addition, Caesar and his Roman engineers were highly adaptable in making use of the terrain and locally available materials, maximizing the exploitation of rock hill slopes and natural streams to minimize workload, turning difficulties into advantages, and significantly reducing transport effort by using earth and stone found on site. Their construction technology is also a big question mark, as many studies indicate that the Romans used specialized tools such as earth-cutting wheels, wood-hauling pulleys, and custom carts to accelerate the pace of digging, building, and rampart assembly. Although no complete artifacts have been found to date, these are mentioned in ancient records. Under siege and immense pressure, each soldier was aware that speed was the key to survival, so they worked together like a machine, maintaining absolute discipline, working continuously day and night, dividing shifts sensibly and never shying away from difficulties. All of this contributed to the creation of a true super-construction army. Finally, it cannot be ruled out that in addition to their elite soldiers, the Romans also utilized thousands of slaves, laborers, or prisoners, and even forced local residents to join the workforce, which further increased the construction speed far beyond the limits of regular army manpower. To this day, archaeologists have found many remaining rampart sections, with traces of deep ditches, rammed earth foundations, stake holes, and even remnants of caltrops and underground pits. However, not the entire siege system has been preserved intact. Most are scattered fragments enough to confirm Caesar's descriptions, but still leaving large gaps about the technical details and true scale. Some places reveal unusual traces, such as deeply disturbed soil pits larger than usual or unevenly lined stones, hinting at special construction methods not clearly detailed in historical texts. Some archaeological sites even suggest double ditches, that is, two parallel ditches with interleaved caltrops, a complexity far exceeding most military works of the same era. Outside the main siege line, Caesar's rampart was further reinforced with rows of watchtowers, sharpened wooden stakes, layers of earth and stone, barricades, metal caltrops, cone-shaped pits, lilies, and even trenches, channeling water from streams, creating natural weapons against mass attacks by Gaulish reinforcements. Each type of obstacle was designed not only to impede, but also to drain the strength and morale of attackers. These rampart layers over thousands of years still appear in segments when heavy rains erode the land, or when people dig foundations for houses in Burgundy, France, silent witnesses to a heroic and mysterious age. Some sources claim that after the Battle of Alesia, the Romans deliberately destroyed or buried many rampart sections to conceal technical secrets or prevent them from becoming weapons for the enemy. This has contributed to today's archaeological blanks, places where metal detectors still find anomalies, but excavations yield nothing but strangely disturbed earth. Analyzing the remaining earth and stone samples, modern engineers find that the Romans cleverly combined available materials with a wood-earth-stone frame structure, making the ramparts both sturdy and resilient, resistant to vibration and weather, after light earthquakes. Logs were joined horizontally and vertically fixed with rammed earth with outer stones preventing erosion. Watchtowers, stairs, and underground passages were all designed for efficient troop movement while remaining hidden from enemies. This achievement reflects construction knowledge, technology, and organizational thinking on a 21st century scale within ancient bodies, proof that the mystery of Alesia's ramparts lies not just in materials, but in the Romans' transcendent intellect. Over 2,000 years have passed, yet the rampart traces around Alesia remain a mysterious topic, inspiring archaeologists and lovers of ancient history alike. Although only scattered sections survive this site, once witnessed one of the most spectacular military constructions in human history. The unimaginable construction speed, advanced building technology, and the Romans' exceptional organizational skills turned Alesia into a wall of time full of enigmas. Every remnant still challenges modern intellect, raising unanswered questions about this ancient feat. The Nanling Range, the chain of mountains dividing South China and North China, is not only a natural boundary in geography and climate, but also a place marked by the footprints of ancient civilizations, boasting feats seemingly beyond the abilities of humans in antiquity. Standing out amidst a sea of clouds, deep ravines, and wild primeval forests is the system known as the Nanling Mountain Pass Stone Roads, the stone roads in the clouds. This network is regarded as one of the most mysterious, robust, and unique ancient infrastructure projects in Chinese history. What technique do you think ancient people used to build these stone roads in the clouds across such rugged mountains? Share your thoughts in the comments below. More than 2,000 years ago, these stone roads began to take shape, linking the central plains of China with the vast southern regions. They played the role of arteries for trade, military movements, and cultural exchange. Through each dynasty, these routes were extended, repaired, and expanded, becoming the backbone for caravans of goods, armies, scholars, and even massive historical migrations. Yet beyond their historical significance, it is the very way these roads were constructed, cutting through cliffs, clinging to the edges of abysses, suspended between sky and earth, that leaves the world astonished and raises countless unanswered questions. The very first enigma of the Nanling Mountain Pass stone roads lies in their mortarless stone assembly technique. Without using cement or steel reinforcement, large and small stones were meticulously hewn, fitting precisely at every corner to create a continuous, tightly packed surface that has not subsided for thousands of years. Many modern construction experts, even after on-site surveys, still cannot explain how the ancients managed to fix each stone block on steep, slippery ground, subject to relentless rain, wind, and seismic activity. Some sections of the road feature so-called stone locking pins, small stones placed strategically, acting both as latches and as shock absorbers, helping prevent sections of the road from breaking off during earthquakes or minor landslides. The bond between large and small stones seems to be stitched together by an invisible hand, a secret that to this day remains an unsolvable puzzle for modern engineers. Particularly impressive are the hanging road segments, barely 2 meters wide, clinging to the edge of ravines hundreds of meters deep, with a sheer cliff on one side and an icy void on the other. In many places, the roadbed is made up of monolithic stone slabs reaching 3 to 4 meters in length, nearly a meter wide, weighing several tons, laid right at the edge as if glued to the sky. The major question is how the ancients could position these stones in such impossible places without lifting machinery. Some suggest they used massive pulley systems or took advantage of natural slopes and ridges to roll the stones upward step by step. However, real surveys show that many of these hanging stones are located in places even modern workers find nearly inaccessible unless there was some special technology or a force beyond the ordinary at work. The surface of the stone road itself is another great mystery. Despite thousands of years of weathering, the surface remains flat, not sagging, as with other ancient stone roads. Even during heavy rains, the surface stays non-slippery, allowing horses, carts, and people to safely pass along death-defying curves. Researchers have found that the stone surfaces are often engraved with shallow lines or finely roughened with wave-like grooves, increasing natural friction without damaging the structure. Small rainwater drainage channels are cleverly hidden under the edge stones, quietly funneling water away from the road's surface. In some special sections, the paving stones are mixed with quartz pebbles or mica flakes, creating a self-drying effect under sunlight or wind, a technique far beyond typical ancient construction knowledge. Along the route, the monolithic stone bridges never fail to astonish. Unlike typical arch bridges, these are giant single slabs spanning deep gaps, with some spans reaching 6 or 7 meters and weighing dozens of tons. Strikingly, these skystone bridges use neither traditional piers nor support columns, but instead take advantage of natural gaps or notches carved into cliff faces to create extremely secure anchor points. To this day, many of these stone bridges remain solid, with no signs of settling or cracking, even after hundreds of minor earthquakes and numerous floods. According to legend, to build a bridge, the ancients had to pick exactly the right day when the dragon vein stirred for the bridge to be sturdy. If the timing was wrong, the bridge would collapse after just a single rainy season. What is truth and what is legend? The answer remains unknown. Surviving the harsh climate of the Nanling Mountains, these ancient stone roads owe their longevity to an extremely intelligent water drainage system. On both sides of the road, small stone channels guide rainwater along the mountainside, funneling it into deep ravines, preventing water from directly eroding the roadbed. In some segments, beneath the road surface are sky wells, deep stone pits that collect rainwater and direct it into a network of underground channels, not only preventing local flooding, but also maintaining steady moisture levels in the stone foundation. Thanks to this, the road surface is always dry, with almost no slippery moss or large cracks, even after centuries. Finally, one cannot ignore the deep grooves on the stone surface, parallel like wheel tracks stretching for hundreds of meters, winding around sharp bends. In some places, the grooves cut through large rock masses as if some supernatural wheel had ground them down over centuries. Archaeologists debate whether these are the traces of ancient chariots. Yet some ruts do not match any known ancient axle width, and in certain sections the grooves cut diagonally across steep slopes and even over ravines, something impossible for ordinary horse-drawn vehicles. One unorthodox theory suggests the ancients may have used special transport devices like giant sleds or mobile stone-grinding tools, or possessed advanced technical knowledge that has since been completely lost to time. The mysterious construction techniques of the Nanling stone roads are not only a technical secret, but are also closely linked to legends and unexplained spiritual elements. Many ancient maps record segments of the road that seem to bend space or suddenly vanish into the mountains without leaving any trace. This has fueled stories about guardian spirits of the past and unexplained, mysterious phenomena, keeping the entire stone road system shrouded in an aura of mystery. Although the initial purpose was trade and military movement over centuries, it has become apparent that these routes also point towards supreme geomantic points, ancient temples, or locations of earth energy. Some scholars even argue that these were dragon veins used to move treasures, secret royal escape routes, or served esoteric rituals connected to astronomy and ancient spiritual beliefs. Today, most of the Nanling mountain pass stone roads remain hidden within the deep forest. About 60% of their total length has yet to be surveyed or accurately mapped. Every year, archaeological teams still discover new branches, underground tunnels, or hidden segments revealed only after heavy rains or landslides. Many big questions still linger. How did the ancients precisely calculate slopes, water flow, and stone placement? What tools moved multi-ton stones into such perilous locations? Where are the true design maps? And are there still imperial secrets buried beneath the cold stone? Looking back at the entire system of the ancient Nanling stone roads, we see not only the intelligence, resilience, and creativity of ancient people, but also touch the veil of mystery, where supreme engineering blends with legend folklore and questions far beyond the reach of modern science. That is why, even dusted by time, the Nanling Mountain Pass stone roads remain the stone roads in the clouds, challenging the intellect and imagination of all humankind. If one had to choose a quintessential example of the magical fusion between ancient military art and engineering prowess that defies the imagination of its era, it would be impossible not to mention the casemate system built within the city walls of Dura Europos, a relic set amid the Syrian desert, once the intersection of great civilizations. Every wall, every chamber here is imbued not only with the scars of war, but stands as a vivid testament to an advanced, mysterious level of construction that continues to puzzle archaeologists and modern engineers to this day. What do you think is the most mysterious aspect of the construction technology behind the Dura Europos city walls? Share your thoughts or theories in the comments below. This ancient city wall stretches for hundreds of meters, rises more than 10 meters high, and notably has a thickness of 3 to 5 meters in sections, containing casemates, a staggering figure, even by ancient fortress standards. Unlike other fortifications that simply built solid walls, Dura Europos created box-like spaces, casemates embedded within the wall itself, connected to one another by narrow, winding passageways. This not only allowed troops to move efficiently, but also significantly increased the wall's ability to withstand external forces. Each casemate is a square or rectangular room with a low, arched ceiling and carefully layered brick walls. The floor of the chamber is often set lower than the city's surface, which helps disperse the impact energy during attacks and ensures the overall solidity of the system. The construction materials are high-fired clay bricks combined with large, meticulously shaped stones. Most notably, the mortar formula, still not fully decoded, binds the brick stones and structural layers so tightly that even after thousands of years, they remain uncracked and intact, regardless of time and the harsh climate. The most astonishing highlight here is the cutting-edge construction technology applied by the ancients. Not only did they lay bricks, they calculated load-bearing structures in meticulous detail, intelligently distributing the city wall's weight through the casemates, thus preventing local subsidence, even though the entire wall was hundreds of tons heavy and extended over long distances. The bricks were laid in staggered interlocking patterns, making the whole structure as sturdy as a single monolithic stone. Small ventilation holes, strategically placed in the casemate ceilings, provided airflow and served as shock absorbers during bombardments by catapults or fire. Especially notable is that some casemates even featured underground water conduits to regulate humidity, prevent termites, and protect the foundations. According to experts, this technique matches the best achievements of Roman and Greek construction, yet it also displays unique Mesopotamian characteristics. In certain wall segments, fired bricks were replaced with hard black basalt, a material extremely difficult to quarry and transport. Cutting, shaping, and fitting such large stones into the casemate structure required iron tools and master craftsmanship. This raises the question, what tools and techniques did the ancients use for this, when archaeology has not yet uncovered much evidence of large-scale construction machinery in the region at that time? One of the biggest mysteries is the composition of the mortar binding the bricks and stones in Dura Europos casemates, which enabled them to withstand semi-arid climates and severe temperature fluctuations for centuries. Lab analyses reveal the mortar is rich in fine sand, mixed with volcanic ash and clay, with minerals, and quite possibly a quantity of organic additives, such as animal glue or natural oils, creating a supple, highly adhesive, waterproof compound. Thanks to this, the casemates remain dry, despite being built right up against the ground, an extremely rare phenomenon among other ancient fortresses. Modern engineers, even with advanced equipment, still face great difficulty replicating such durable quality. Beyond the surface, Dura Europos's casemate system also conceals secret tunnels descending into even deeper subterranean levels. These may have served as emergency escape routes, supply lines, or long-term storage for provisions and weapons. These tunnels are also incredibly solid, with vaulted roofs for support and walls coated in fire-resistant mortar, all demonstrating an architectural level far surpassing what one might expect from a city of that era. Some underground routes were even designed with defensive traps, trapdoors, walls engineered to collapse on intruders or niches for defenders to lie in wait. Many of these ideas, compared to medieval Europe, did not become common until many centuries later. Thanks to the casemate system, and especially thick walls, Dura Europos withstood numerous assaults by mighty Roman and Parthian forces. These breathless sieges have left their marks on the casemate walls, cracks from catapults, blackened areas from chemical weapons, bitumen and sulfur burned to create toxic gas by the Parthians, even wall sections collapsed by undermining, but miraculously, most of the chambers remained intact, never collapsing in a chain reaction. Many casemates show signs of being reinforced over time, new mortar-filling cracks, inner walls lined with harder stone. This proves that the defenders continually upgraded their stronghold with ever more sophisticated techniques, adapting agilely to the latest threats of their era. Today, archaeologists and engineers researching Dura Europos agree this casemate system is a living school in defensive techniques: load, distribution, sabotage, resistance. Lessons on load, balancing material usage, fireproofing, and moisture prevention from here are now applied in modern construction. Dura Europos casemates also reflect the ancients' extraordinary adaptability to harsh climates and nature. A city in the middle of the desert, yet its casemate rooms always remained dry, cool, and safe for soldiers and civilians during war. The secrets of materials, mortar formulas, foundation handling, and insulation layers are still being actively researched, associated with many intriguing yet unsolved theories. Beyond technical value, many casemate rooms are memory chests of cultures. Their walls bear layers of murals, inscriptions in multiple languages, and religious symbols from Greek, Roman, Jewish, and Zoroastrian traditions. Each wall is a layer of history, each brick a fragment of the city's story through countless ups and downs. The Dura Europos city wall casemates are not merely an intelligent defense system, but a testament to a bygone era of future-surpassing engineering, a convergence of human creativity, military might, and resilience. The mysteries of their materials, structures, and construction techniques continue to challenge today's scientists and stand as a reminder of a past both brilliant, sophisticated, and astonishing right in the heart of Syria's arid desert. On the southeastern lands of Korea in the Gyeongju region, the ancient capital of the Silla kingdom, over 1,000 years ago, stands the legendary Namsan mountain range. Hidden among pine forests and towering cliffs, Namsan harbors a unique treasure trove, the Namsan Gyeongju rock-cut structures, a complex of architecture and stone carvings cut directly into the mountain. Here, craft faith and mysteries transcend time with secrets that archaeologists and materials scientists have yet to fully unravel. What do you think about the mysterious materials and construction techniques of the Namsan Gyeongju rock-cut structures? In your opinion, how did ancient people create these strange monuments? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Upon setting foot on the slopes of Namsan, visitors and researchers are quickly overwhelmed by the dense and seemingly random appearance of hundreds of stone statues, bas-reliefs, small pagodas, and shrines carved deep into the mountainside. Unlike Buddhist complex in India, China, or Southeast Asia, where structures are often planned and clustered together, at Namsan, each group of stone architecture hides in its own spot on slopes, by streams, halfway up sheer cliffs, and sometimes only revealed when the forest sheds its leaves or when sunlight strikes at just the right moment. What is strange is there is no master plan, no symmetry, no set pattern to the arrangement of these structures. Some groups of gigantic statues of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and deities stand right beside broad footpaths easily accessible. In other places, the bas-reliefs are barely visible on precariously perched rocks, where even modern visitors must climb or cling to reach them. This begs the first question: how did the ancient Silla people transport and construct these stone masterpieces in such unthinkable locations when their tools were limited to ropes, wooden poles, and human strength? A closer examination of the stone carvings on Namsan only deepens the mystery. Beneath layers of moss and age, every Buddha or deity's face emerges vividly, the eyes, nose, and folds of clothing rendered with extraordinary delicacy. Notably, all were carved directly into blocks of natural granite, one of the hardest and most challenging materials in nature. Some bas-reliefs are 5 to 7 meters tall, yet their lines remain supple and undistorted, a feat almost unimaginable with ancient tools. Some mini shrines or stone pagodas are even hollowed deep into the rock, creating enclosed sacred spaces like mini-cave temples with vaulted roofs, statue niches, and tiny passageways. Researchers have compared this technique to the famed Buddhist cave complexes at Ajanta and Ellora, India, or Dunhuang, China, but have concluded that Namsan is both distinct and imbued with unique local features. Even if we only consider the sculpture itself, Namsan's heritage is already remarkable, but what truly troubles materials scientists, engineers, and archaeologists lies in the construction traces, auxiliary materials, and reinforcement techniques that the Silla people employed on this rocky mountain. Discoveries from the past several decades have revealed a series of mysteries that have yet to be fully resolved. Unlike many other rock-cut heritages, where statues and reliefs are simply carved from solid blocks, in Namsan detailed investigations show that at many joints, statue edges, bases of small pagodas, or places where natural rock meets sculpture, there is the presence of a layer of connecting material in the form of unusual mortar or adhesive. When chemically analyzed, these materials are not exactly like the mortar lime or traditional cement known from Scylla relics or other ancient East Asian architecture. Some samples contain a high proportion of silicate-based minerals mixed with many organic components such as plant fibers, fine sand, and ash, forming a bonding layer with elastic waterproof properties and especially remarkable resistance to moss and mold. In some mini pagodas, layers of mortar mixed with copper powder, lead, or tiny wood chips have been found applied in a very thin layer between the natural rock and additional small fragments, such as when reconstructing the head of a statue or the rim of a pagoda that has been chipped. To this day, the mixing formula and technical purpose of this material have not been fully deciphered. Is this a unique innovation of Scylla craftsmen, or did they adopt some secret from elsewhere? And why is it mainly seen in Namsan but not evident in other Korean rock-cut sites? At certain locations, where mini pagodas are built on sloping rocks, ground-penetrating radar and surface analysis have revealed traces of wood, copper, and lead buried directly under the foundations. This is extremely unusual for classical Buddhist construction, which usually relies only on stone or gravel foundations. This reinforcement method shows that the Scylla people were not only masters of sculpture, but also very sophisticated in structural engineering. They used a wooden core as a cushion to reduce vibration, and copper or lead to increase stability and prevent cracking as the natural stone foundation expanded or contracted with the weather. Remarkably, when excavated, many wooden pieces still retained their original grain, not yet decayed, demonstrating that Scylla's techniques of preserving or chemically treating wood reached almost a fossilized state. Some copper and lead samples from pagoda bases also have non-uniform alloy compositions containing traces of local minerals, suggesting that Scylla artisans may have made their own alloys right on site using available mountain materials to hot cast and bury under the foundations. Cutting, chiseling, and polishing marks on Namsan stones under the microscope also reveal that not all were made with conventional stone hammers or ancient iron chisels. Some especially smooth polishing marks on large statues, mini pagodas, or shrines show high uniformity and spiral traces, as if assisted by rotating tools, grinders, or even high temperatures, which is nearly unimaginable given the surface-level technology known from Scylla records. This raises the theory: did Scylla ever experiment with techniques such as grinding with quartz sand, water-powered rotary tools, or even super-hard alloy chisels? And why have these techniques not left clear traces at other sites from the same era? To this day, the answer has not been fully confirmed. On many large statues and reliefs, clear signs of ancient repairs are visible. There are parts of statue faces, limbs, or robe edges that have been patched with different materials, perfectly matching the original sections, with traces of careful smoothing and extremely skillful filling. In some places, the patch material is entirely different, sometimes black basalt, sometimes silicate-rich mortar, sometimes even mixed with tiny ceramic fragments. This raises the question: did the ancients heal these stone statues using a reconstruction technique, creating a new protective layer to preserve them over time, or are these traces of esoteric restorations or mystical seals known only to members of certain Scylla sects? Some stone statues and mini pagodas, though exposed to the elements for over 1,000 years, still have smooth surfaces almost free of moss or erosion. Careful inspection reveals, in addition to the aforementioned mortar layer, that there is a thin, biological film on the statue surface, most likely the residue of an organic compound from tree resin, beeswax, or vegetable oil. This film not only polishes and waterproofs, but also prevents the growth of fungi, a secret anti-aging technique for stone statues, virtually unknown in other civilizations. To date, no study has fully analyzed the composition of this coating, and how the Chellah people created it remains a chemical mystery at the heart of this heritage. In addition to mysteries surrounding materials and construction techniques, Namsan also impresses with its diversity of beliefs and symbolism. Beyond Buddhism, this site blends indigenous elements, Taoism, shamanism, as well as many guardian deities, four-faced Buddhas, zoomorphic, anthropomorphic reliefs, and folk rituals that are still preserved today. The unique statues and enigmatic carvings of Namsan have inspired numerous theories about esoteric sects, protective rituals, or spiritual transformations, none of which have been fully explained to this day. Whether as an archaeological site, a place of worship, or an open-air laboratory for ancient material techniques, Namsan remains a major challenge for modern science. The strange mortar's reinforcement methods and protective coatings here have yet to be authentically reproduced. In short, the Namsan Gyeongju rock-cut structures are not only an open-air museum, but also a treasury of ancient knowledge, technique, and spirituality, offering strong inspiration to those passionate about exploring humanity's ancient mysteries. When talking about mysterious sites of Western ancient civilization, people often think of Stonehenge or Karnak, but there is another place that is less known, perhaps even stranger, and with more unanswered questions, namely the Roqupertuse portico platform. Located on a precarious rocky slope in southern France, this monument is not only a testament to the enigmatic beliefs of the ancient Celtic peoples, but also a challenging puzzle in construction techniques that to this day archaeologists and modern engineers still have not been able to fully decipher. What do you think the ancient Celts might have used to build the Roqupertuse portico platform on such a steep, rocky outcrop? Share your thoughts or theories in the comments section below. Setting foot in Roqupertuse, you are immediately overwhelmed by its perilous position, a sheer rocky outcrop overlooking a vast valley below, almost entirely isolated from the outside world. This topography makes anyone wonder, why did the Celts choose this place to build such an important ceremonial center? And how could they transport tons of stone to the top of the cliff without the support of modern machinery? At the heart of Roqupertuse lies a wide, flat stone platform assembled from huge blocks of limestone, stacked together with nearly absolute precision. This foundation is not merely a flat surface for standing, but was designed as a stage for sacred rituals, the site of the most mysterious religious activities of the Ligurian Celtic tribe. From this position, the Celts could observe an entire vast region, both signifying territorial control and symbolizing the supernatural power of those who stand above. However, what causes archaeologists and modern engineers to rack their brains is not just the geographical location, but the construction mechanism of the very platform itself. The stone blocks that make up the foundation of Roqupertuse each weigh several tons, with many slabs over 2 meters long, transported from quarries several kilometers away without the help of animal-drawn carts, pulleys, or any machinery like what we have today. The local terrain is steep, with no natural slope leading up to the summit, and archaeological excavations have found no trace of temporary transport routes, earth or stone ramps, or any large-scale lever systems ever having existed. Some theories have suggested that the Celts built scaffolding or used wooden rollers to move the stones uphill, but the barren rocky mountains around Roqupertuse were extremely short on large timber, making such ideas highly impractical. Other theories have imagined that ancient people might have taken advantage of icy winters to slide the stones on ice, but with the warm Mediterranean climate all year round, that scenario is nearly impossible. The mystery goes beyond just transport methods. The stone joining technique is also astonishing to modern researchers. A close inspection reveals that the blocks were joined so precisely that not even a thin blade can be slipped between the joints, forming absolutely flat, seamless, and incredibly solid surfaces, something usually seen only in civilizations with advanced metal tools. At the time, however, the Celts here only knew basic bronze or iron axes and lacked sophisticated stone-cutting technology. Microscopic studies have also revealed that the contact surfaces between slabs were meticulously polished, eliminating all ridges and cracks. This made the overall structure not only stable and resistant to settling, but also able to withstand loads for thousands of years. Many modern engineers admit that even with today's hand tools, it would take months to achieve such flawless surfaces, not to mention the massive scale of the whole construction. Furthermore, another mystery lies in how the platform has remained intact over millennia without sinking or eroding the surface. Was designed with a slight incline to let rainwater drain away naturally, preventing water from accumulating and damaging the structure. Beneath the main stone layer is a cushion system of smaller stones that helps distribute compressive forces and reduce vibration when ceremonies take place above. Even now, many geologists still cannot accurately recreate this clever stone cushion mechanism without using concrete or modern materials, proving that the ancient Celts made full use of natural materials to create a foundation far stronger and more durable than anything expected for their era. Remarkably, at Roqupertuse, archaeologists have not found any trace of large machines, pulleys, wheels, or foundation pits for major construction, while other famous megalithic sites like Stonehenge or Göbekli Tepe have left plenty of such evidence. This has completely shaken the theory of primitive tools, forcing researchers to consider whether the Celts once possessed construction techniques or special tools now lost to time, or perhaps that Roqupertuse still harbors mysteries that modern history has yet to uncover. Another remarkable point is that the overall structure of Roqupertuse was not spontaneous, but clearly demonstrates careful planning and sophisticated design. The entire platform faces southeast the direction of sunrise, consistent with the Celtic sun worship belief system. The line of stone columns in front, with round holes atop once used for placing human skulls, is aligned with the main platform, creating a sacred corridor that separates the mundane from the holy space. Additionally, the appearance of enigmatic stone statues with strange shapes and a carving style utterly different from any neighboring civilization is notable. The statues often depict people sitting cross-legged, wearing pointed hats with solemn faces, sometimes with mysterious holes in their faces and bodies whose function remains unexplained. Here, the rituals of taking heads and ancestor or hero worship took place. Notably, real human skulls were discovered, many with drilled or cut marks, demonstrating extremely sophisticated bone processing techniques far exceeding the level of other contemporary European civilizations. The space at Roqupertuse was both the laboratory of faith and the testing ground for mysterious rituals whose purposes still elude us. Some scholars believe that this very platform was the site of power activation rituals for warriors. Those who passed the test here would be considered heroes, receiving divine power to protect the tribe. After thousands of years, much of Roqupertuse has been destroyed, But what remains is a living clue, helping later generations decipher some of the skills, intelligence, and beliefs of the Celts. Yet the more is excavated, the more new mysteries emerge. Why was the structure suddenly abandoned? Who destroyed the stone statues and ritual columns? Was this once a focal point for tribal conflict, or did it witness some shocking secret event lost to history? Artifacts excavated at Roqupertuse, from broken statues and skulls to ritual objects, all bear features unlike anywhere else, making Roqupertuse a golden key for unlocking the beliefs and society of early Celtic times. Roqupertuse is not just an ancient stone relic, but also a testament to the advanced techniques and creativity of the Celts. Even after thousands of years, this stone platform continues to quietly challenge every attempt at explanation, leaving scientists to wonder, how did people of the past manage to build such a magnificent structure? To this day, Roqupertuse remains a great mystery waiting to be fully uncovered. Hidden deep beneath the soil of Europe, the subterranean water tunnel system of the Medina Hypogeum continues to challenge the intellect of modern humanity with a myriad of mysteries regarding its origins, usage, and above all, the technology used to carve these tunnels, something no one has yet claimed to have fully deciphered. The story of the Medina Hypogeum water galleries is not just a journey through shadowy labyrinths, but also a race with history where every stone slab and each passage is filled with countless unanswered questions. How do you think the mysterious tunneling technology of the Medina Hypogeum was created? If you have any ideas or theories, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Since the early years of the 20th century, archaeologists have uncovered tangled sections of tunnels stretching for kilometers beneath the Medina region. At first, people thought this was merely a basic water supply system constructed by ancient inhabitants. Yet the deeper they explored, the more the complexity and scale of the tunnels exceeded all expectations. Not only were they places for storing water, but many tunnel sections also housed grand chambers, mysterious sealed rooms, and extremely sophisticated drainage and channel systems. This raises the question, who constructed this monumental work, and how did they do it? If you simply glance at an archaeological map, it's hard to believe that beneath such a tranquil landscape lies a true labyrinth. Rooms, corridors, wells, side passages, all intertwined to create a multi-layered structure incredibly difficult to access. There are places where the ceilings soar several meters high, wide enough for dozens of people to walk side by side without touching shoulders. In other areas, the passage is so tight only one person can crouch and squeeze through. What astonishes archaeologists is that despite the passage of time, this system remains steadfast, rarely subsiding, hardly destroyed, with materials of remarkable durability. This reveals that its creators were not only highly intelligent, but also possessed a mastery of construction techniques from an ancient age. The tunneling technology of the Medina Hypogeum stands as its greatest mystery, sparking controversy and leaving anyone who encounters it in awe. Unlike medieval underground constructions that usually bear clear traces of primitive tools, the tunnel walls here are crafted with extraordinary sharpness, featuring smooth, angular surfaces, and in many sections, almost no trace of picks or stone hammers can be found. The joints, curves, and vaulted ceilings all reach such a level of precision that many experts have admitted that achieving this would require tools or techniques far beyond the imagination of ancient people. Not only do these tunnels involve hollowing out rock to create empty chambers, but the system also includes water channels, underground drainage pipes, and ventilation shafts arranged in an extremely logical manner, making full use of elevation differences to prevent flooding. The water channels intertwine like veins connecting rooms and forming a closed circulatory system beneath the earth. This raises a major question. How could people in the past calculate and construct such a complex system without modern blueprints or laser positioning devices? Even more remarkable, after many centuries, the stone arches and tunnel ceilings remain intact, unaffected by erosion or collapse, suggesting that beyond natural stone, some special binding materials, possibly slaked lime, or even an unknown organic compound, were used to increase the adhesion and flexibility of the entire structure. Massive stone blocks, weighing tons, are fitted together so tightly that there is not a single gap, reminiscent of pyramid building techniques, but here executed on a smaller and even more sophisticated scale. Additionally, within the system, there are rooms that are completely sealed by gigantic stone slabs, permanently shielded from all environmental effects, and moving or installing these stones would undoubtedly have required pulley systems or at least a coordinated workforce and technical team, though no records of such efforts have ever been found. Some archaeologists have even hypothesized that the builders might have applied the principle of sliding on water, using water as a lubricant to move heavy objects, much like some theories about the construction of the Egyptian pyramids. Ultimately, what deepens the mystery is the origin of all this knowledge. Who passed down these secrets? Could this be the legacy of a lost civilization, or of mysterious medieval monks or architects possessing knowledge far ahead of their time? In fact, many local legends mention wise men beneath the earth and secret societies that kept this knowledge hidden for centuries, passing it on only to truly worthy successors. There are many theories that have been proposed to explain the mysteries surrounding the construction technology of the Medina Hypogeum. Some researchers suggest that ancient people may have used extremely rare metal tools, since certain stone samples from the tunnels show signs of being precisely cut or drilled into uniform, cylindrical shapes, something only possible with tools much harder than the typical iron or steel available in antiquity. Another explanation focuses on the use of heat or chemicals, as there are sections of the tunnel walls that bear traces of heating or mild corrosion. It's possible that ancient builders used fire-slaked lime or even special homemade chemicals to soften the rock before excavation. In addition, some have theorized that ancient people might have known how to harness vibrational force, sound waves, or some special physical principle to split and break large stone blocks without causing widespread cracking, thus keeping the tunnel structures solid. However, up to this day, no one can confidently confirm which theory is correct. All remain conjecture based on lingering traces, and each time a new branch of the tunnel is discovered, researchers find details that stretch the imagination of the modern world even further. Today, modern construction companies require hundreds of workers' drills, sensors, and laser alignment equipment to complete a tunnel through solid rock, yet the ancients accomplished this with bare hands, or perhaps with lost tools and techniques. This is clear proof that ancient humans could be just as intelligent, creative, and mysterious as we are. The inability to definitively identify the tunneling technology makes the Medina Hypogeum water galleries not just a destination for adventurous tourists, but a sanctuary for scientists, archaeologists, engineers, even alchemists and code breakers. With each newly opened chamber and every newly deciphered section, humanity edges closer to the secrets of the past, but simultaneously new questions and greater challenges emerge. Today, the Medina Hypogeum water galleries are not just an archaeological site, but also a symbol of human creativity and mystery, reminding us that countless secrets of the past remain unsolved by science and perhaps the most extraordinary wonders still lie hidden deep underground where sunlight has never reached. On the windy, sandy shores of Dhofar, southern Oman, amid scorching sunlight and crashing waves, the ruins of Sumhuram rise like a quiet dot of an ancient civilization once glorious but now forgotten by time. In this complex, the city gate, with its 2 bastions' defensive towers, stands as a silent witness to mysterious tales of intelligence, power, and the boundaries never decoded by ancient people. Especially the construction techniques of these bastions are a subject of controversy and wonder, even compelling many modern scientists and architects to admit there are still countless mysteries that time has yet to reveal. What do you think is the greatest mystery about the construction of the Sumhuram city gate? Share your opinion in the comments below. More than 2,000 years ago, Sumhuram was a major port city of the Hadramaut Kingdom. The city gate was the gateway for trade, controlling the flow of the most precious commodity of the ancient world, frankincense. 2 massive bastions towered on each side like eternal gods, protecting this wealthy and bustling city. Huge stone blocks, thick ramparts, and well-designed defensive features would overwhelm anyone passing through with the sheer power of their construction technique. Yet the true allure of the city gate is not merely its grand appearance, but the very unanswered questions surrounding its construction secrets and its enduring existence over millennia. Firstly, the bastions of the Sumhuram Gate were built using massive limestone blocks, each weighing from several hundred to over 1,000 kilograms, fitted tightly together with almost no gaps. Strangely, at the time of 2,000 years ago, this area showed no evidence of large-scale iron or steel tools, nor any signs of sophisticated pulleys or levers as found in Egypt or Rome. So how did the ancient people of Sumhuram quarry, transport, and raise those enormous stones, fitting them precisely to the millimeter without modern cement? Many theories have been proposed, from using large wooden rollers, using sea sand as a support to earth ramping techniques, and moving the stones by human force. But all remain speculative. No archaeological evidence has confirmed them. This becomes even stranger since most of the stone faces in the bastions are quite flat, the joints almost perfect, even after enduring sea winds and the passage of time. Archaeologists have measured the ramparts at the bastions are on average from 1 to 2 meters thick, with some places reaching 2.3 meters. With this thickness, arrows, spears, or even siege weapons were nearly useless. The thickness also helped the structure withstand sandstorms, erosion, coastal landslides, and even minor earthquakes, which are not uncommon in this area. This raises the question, how did they determine the optimal thickness and distribute the stone mass effectively, both saving materials and maximizing defense? Among contemporary ruins in Oman and Yemen, few apply this technique on such a large scale as Sumhuram. This difference shows that the mathematical structural physics knowledge and strategic vision of the ancients here might far exceed ordinary assumptions. Perhaps the strangest detail is the stone fitting method. The bastions were built with large stones stacked according to an interlocking, nesting pattern, with each layer overlapping 2 below. Yet no trace of binding materials like lime mortar clay or resin is found. Even so, after millennia, the walls still stand firm, with many sections as intact as if just built. Some experts believe the people of Sumhuram understood how to read sea wind directions, soil flows, and weather impacts, thereby adjusting stone placement so that pressure compression and friction forces were evenly distributed. Others lean toward the theory that they mastered stone surface finishing to an extremely high flatness, creating an airlock effect between large blocks, preventing seawater and air from seeping in and slowing erosion. There is still no modern experiment that has fully recreated such stone fitting, especially under conditions lacking advanced iron and steel tools. The terrain around Sumhuram is sandy soil, near river mouths, and the sea, an ever-changing environment easily eroded and salinated. Placing a massive stone structure on such weak ground is a tough problem even for modern engineers. Yet the bastions have stood firm for millennia, weathering storms, large waves, earthquakes, and erosive events. There is no evidence of deep pile foundations, like in modern constructions. Some traces suggest the ancients may have known how to create multi-layered bases using gravel sand and small stones before setting large blocks. There is even a theory that they observed and selected sites with naturally hard rocky cores, thoroughly exploiting geological advantages. But what surveying and soil assessment techniques did they use at that time? Have they been lost, or are they waiting for future discoveries? Not only are there massive stones and thick walls, the Sumhuram bastions also display many unique subsidiary architectural features, mysterious niches, small steps, wall holes in square, round, or rectangular shapes. Some of these holes are at heights difficult to access with inconsistent shapes and unclear purposes, whether for observation archery or with religious, spiritual, or aerodynamic roles. Some theories suggest these small holes were designed to breathe for the stone walls, helping reduce wind pressure, prevent cracking, or simply as places for ritual offerings during the start or end of construction. However, no one has provided a truly convincing explanation. What puzzles historians is that Sumhuram is quite far from large stone quarries. The surrounding area is mostly sandy hills and small limestone mountains. To complete the bastions, the ancients had to quarry and transport thousands of tons of stone over a not short distance under harsh climates without mechanical support. Did they use human and animal strength? Or was there a now lost mechanical invention? No traces of ox cart roads, large stone depots, or specialized tools have been found at the archaeological site. Recent studies have found traces of highly specialized labor groups, perhaps with very specific roles: quarrymen, stone cutters, transporters, assemblers, and even project supervisors. All paint a picture of a highly organized society, but this only adds to the mystery what drove them to invest in such a fortified gate when most other ancient cities in the area lack similar structures. Today, the Sumhuram city gate with its 2 bastions is regarded as a vivid open-air museum of construction techniques, social organization, and the spiritual world of the ancient peoples of southern Arabia. Every stone niche and detail is an open question, urging scientists to keep digging, experimenting, measuring, and reconstructing 3-dimensional models to decipher the mysteries of materials, methods, building logic, and the eternal endurance of an ancient monument. The Sumhuram Gate bastions are not merely 2 ancient defensive stone towers, but a testament to the advanced construction skills of people from a bygone era. Every detail here remains an enigma. How could humans thousands of years ago, relying solely on their hands and ingenuity, build such enduring and resilient structures against time and nature? This mystery will continue to inspire curiosity and admiration in generations to come. In the dry, windswept desert north of South Australia, where red dust spirals upward and silence stretches endlessly across the landscape, lies one of the strangest man-made mysteries of the modern era, the Marree Man geoglyph. This massive figure, roughly 4 kilometers long, depicts an Aboriginal warrior holding a woomera, the traditional spear thrower. Yet what makes it one of the greatest enigmas of the century is not merely its overwhelming size, but the way it appeared suddenly in 1998, without warning, without witnesses, and without a single confirmed creator. The real puzzle remains. How was it made? A pilot flying over the region accidentally discovered the geoglyph from several thousand meters above. On the ground, it was entirely invisible, almost as if it had been designed for the eyes of creatures capable of seeing from the sky. This immediately raised the larger question, who was the intended audience? Only a bird's-eye view reveals the full form. Unsurprisingly, many people compare it to the Nazca lines of Peru, another creation visible only from above. But all these surface mysteries are nothing compared to the deeper one. The geoglyph's astonishing construction precision, a feat that has baffled archaeologists, geologists, surveyors, and even military engineers for decades. Who do you think created the Marree Man, a mysterious artist, a military group, or perhaps a technology we still don't fully understand? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. If one were to look only at satellite images, it would be easy to assume that the Marree Man was the result of a large-scale surveying project supported by military-grade GPS, heavy construction machinery, detailed engineering plans, and weeks of on-site work. But the reality is entirely the opposite. The multi-kilometer trenches that form the Marree Man maintain a consistent depth of about 30 centimeters, an even width, and most astonishingly, every line is either perfectly straight or perfectly curved, according to precise geometric proportions, with almost no deviation, not even a few centimeters. To achieve that level of accuracy, the creators must have possessed an aerial measurement system, an advanced positioning technology, and the ability to draw flawlessly accurate lines across the desert without accumulating errors. Yet, in 1998, civilian GPS was nowhere near accurate enough for such a task. And if military GPS was indeed used, the question becomes, who had access to it? A covert research team, a military unit, or a mysterious artist with technology far beyond their era. Even if one assumes access to millimeter-accurate GPS coordinating machinery to carve seamless multi-kilometer lines is nearly impossible. However, terrain survey experts discovered that the trenches were made using a tool with an extraordinarily uniform cross-section resembling a massive blade that moved continuously without interruption. Such a tool had never been recorded in Australia at the time. Stranger still, when the site was examined, there were no tracks from large vehicles, no bulldozer marks, no tractor prints, no footprints, and not even signs of a temporary work camp. The desert normally preserves traces for a long time, yet Marree Man appears to have been created in an extremely short span of time by a device that appeared and disappeared. Some experts compare the Marree Man's precision to that of modern aerial survey engineering projects. To draw a perfectly proportioned human figure stretching 4 kilometers, the creators would have needed constant aerial observation or access to high-resolution digital mapping, something not easily accessible in the late 1990s. So how could a group create such a work without anyone noticing, without aircraft rental records, without flight logs, and without attracting any attention at all? This is precisely what makes the mystery grow increasingly difficult to explain. One strong hypothesis suggests that the Marree Man was created by a group with military capabilities, those with aircraft military GPS, and the ability to carry out clean construction without leaving evidence. Yet no military organization has ever claimed responsibility. Another idea is that it was the work of a secretive artist, but an artist would not typically possess private aircraft precision, navigation technology, or any reason to maintain absolute silence for more than 2 decades. Art historians also argue that the Marree Man does not resemble any contemporary art movement in Australia or anywhere else. Some people go further, proposing that the geoglyph was created using airborne laser projection, allowing ground teams to simply follow the traced outline. But laser mapping was not common at the time, and there is no evidence it was ever used in the region. All theories ultimately lead to a single conclusion: if modern technology was involved, then the creators must have been individuals with vast resources, deep technical knowledge, and access to equipment far beyond civilian reach. And if modern technology was not used, then the mystery becomes even more unbelievable. For this reason, the idea of astonishing construction precision remains the central theme of every debate surrounding the Marree Man. No evidence, no tracks, no confession, only a colossal geoglyph, impossibly perfect, lying in the desert, like a direct challenge to modern scientific understanding. No locals reported machinery noise, no one saw lights at night, no transport activity, no dust clouds, nothing. A project of this scale should have taken many days, yet it appeared as though it was completed in perfect silence under complete invisibility. When researchers studied the soil, they found the displaced earth arranged neatly along the trench edges, an operation usually requiring a skilled, coordinated team. Yet there was zero signs of such a team ever being present. It was as if Marree Man had been pressed into the desert surface in a single motion. After the geoglyph's discovery, a series of anonymous faxes and letters were sent to government officers, written in American 1930s literary style, quoting obscure works. They seemed intentionally crafted to mislead rather than explain. No origin was ever traced. The writer clearly understood Aboriginal culture deeply, yet also wanted to remain hidden. The message was clear: the creator did not want to be identified. When the figure began eroding from wind, authorities restored it using satellite data. But during examination, they discovered something unusual. The original trenches had incredibly consistent depth and width, unlike anything created by typical earth-moving equipment. The tool that made Marree Man does not match any commercial machine. This strengthened the theory that a non-standard specialized or experimental technology had been used. The Marree Man geoglyph remains one of the most perplexing mysteries of the 20th century. A figure 4 kilometers long, created flawlessly, without evidence of machinery, without witnesses, and without anyone claiming responsibility. Worse yet, it seems to require a level of surveying and construction technology far beyond what an anonymous civilian group could have accessed in 1998. Marree Man is not just a colossal artwork. It is a challenge to modern archaeology, geospatial science, and our understanding of technological capability. To this day, the core question, how it was built, has no definitive answer and may continue puzzling researchers for many decades ahead. On the arid windswept surface of the Ouled Plateau, where the border between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan stretches endlessly, lie stone structures that to this day leave scientists astonished by their scale and mystery: the Sarmatian Ouled Plateau stone forts. These are ancient stone fortresses scattered across a land where modern life can barely cling on. Behind crumbling walls, beneath layers of sand eroded over thousands of years, lies a trove of secrets about construction techniques, migration history, religion, and most importantly, a massive question mark about the true function of these forts. What do you think was the true purpose of the Sarmatian Ouled Plateau stone forts? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. The Ouled Plateau, an arid expanse stretching over 200,000 square kilometers, has long been a crossroads of nomadic cultures. In this land, where water is a luxury and plants are sparse, any trace of construction becomes a marvel. Yet the ancient Sarmatians chose this place to build a series of massive stone structures, something not only counter to survival logic, but also challenging the understanding of archaeologists. Setting foot here, you'll encounter grey stone walls, some several meters high, joined into circles, rectangles, or bizarre polygons. Many forts are hidden in desolate depressions, far from any ancient water sources or settlements. An immediate question arises: who built them, and for what purpose, in this dead land? Unlike the mud brick structures common to Central Asia, these forts are made entirely of local limestone, some blocks weighing several tons, stacked using dry stone techniques without mortar. After thousands of years, they remain solid and barely eroded, demonstrating the builder's engineering knowledge. The mere task of transporting, shaping, and lifting these stones was a feat with no modern tools, deepening the enigma around their true function. Satellite research and field surveys reveal that there are hundreds of stone structures across the Ouled Plateau, from large forts' perimeter walls, watchtowers, to mysterious stone circles. Some forts have perimeters of more than 100 meters, divided into many small rooms. Corridors, main and side gates, resembling a fortified residential center or a major military base. Yet in most forts, traces of daily life are rare. No kitchens, no wells, no large storage areas or adjacent cemeteries, making their true purpose even more mysterious. When it comes to what makes the Sarmatian Ouled Plateau stone forts truly mysterious, nothing surpasses the ambiguity, multiplicity, and at times even the illogical nature of their function. Outwardly, many of these structures look like classic fortresses with thick walls, watchtowers surrounding moats or trenches, and easily controlled entryways, features that suggest a military role, either defending against attacks or protecting caravans traversing the desert trade routes. However, if they were truly military fortifications, why are there no nearby water sources, a basic necessity for any defensive structure? The fact that there are so many forts scattered across the plateau, not forming a continuous defensive line, also casts doubt on this hypothesis. Some forts are too small to be proper strongholds, while some larger ones show no evidence of long-term communal living. Other theories suggest these forts were checkpoints along the Salt Road, crossing Ouled, a rare trade route connecting nomadic tribes and ancient kingdoms like Persia, Khwarezm, and Scythia, possibly serving as tax collection posts, inspection points, or safe havens for traveling caravans. Yet many of the forts are located in places unfavorable for commerce, far from ancient main roads or oases, and the traces of goods or trading artifacts are extremely scarce, not what one would expect from important trade hubs. Another theory proposes that some of these structures once functioned as astronomical observatories, since the doors, walls, or main axes of several forts align with special points on the horizon where the sun rises or sets during solstices or in the direction of major constellations. This raises the question, could these be observatory centers for timekeeping or places to mark cosmic events, a blend of ancient belief and proto-science? But if that is true, why build them so solidly on such a large scale and spread over such a vast area? Furthermore, not all forts have astronomical features, making this theory less convincing. Some archaeological evidence also suggests that certain stone circles or small rooms inside the forts may have been used for rituals or ceremonies. Animal remains or ashes hint at sacrificial rites, prayers, or worship of ancestors and deities. However, the number of burials or religious artifacts is too limited to definitively identify this as the main purpose. Even bolder theories propose that the forts were survival laboratories where the Sarmatians tested their endurance, adaptability, or stored emergency food supplies during difficult times, or that they were ancient signal stations transmitting messages with fire or polished stone mirrors to warn of attacks. Yet up to now, no archaeological evidence is strong enough to fully confirm any of these ideas, making these stone forts even more mysterious, like a secret message the ancient Sarmatian civilization left for future generations. The Sarmatians were famous nomadic tribes renowned for their fierce female cavalry linked to the Amazon legend, but left few traces of cities or long-term settlements. What motivated them to build such complex permanent structures on the Ouled Plateau? Was this a cultural transition from nomadism to semi-settlement, or just footprints from great migrations and brutal territorial conflicts of ancient times? The combination of nomadic lifestyle and fixed stone architecture is the greatest paradox, opening up countless theories about Sarmatian social organization, survival strategies, and religious beliefs. The forts are believed to have been built since the first millennium BC, but the exact time and reason for abandonment remain unclear. It may be the result of major climatic changes, desertification, water depletion, shifting trade routes, or violent invasions, forcing tribes to leave this dead land. The fact that many forts have been buried by sand or lost entirely further complicates research and deepens the veil of mystery over their true function. Most forts and auxiliary structures remain unexcavated due to their remote locations, harsh natural conditions, and lack of funding. Many circles, walls, and structures lie deep under stone and sand, holding secrets never revealed. Each new discovery here could entirely change our understanding of the real purpose behind this system of forts. The Sarmatian Ouled Plateau stone forts are not just architectural relics, but symbols of humanity's unresolved mysteries. These fortresses prompt us to reflect on human creativity and the limits of our knowledge, for there are enigmas that modern science and archaeology may never fully explain. Over time, these structures silently challenge future generations, reminding us that their true purpose, like many other ancient mysteries, may forever remain just a hypothesis. When speaking of the most mysterious and controversial ruins in North Africa, the name Aghmat Palace Platform is always at the center of attention among archaeologists, historians, and enthusiasts of ancient civilizations. Located on the edge of the Haus Plain, at the foot of the majestic Atlas Mountains, and only several dozen kilometers from Marrakesh, the ruins of this palace platform are the fossilized heart of a city that was once among the most powerful and culturally vibrant centers in medieval Morocco. Yet what makes this place so enigmatic and beyond the imagination of most people does not lie in the silent appearance of ancient stones, but rather in the unsolved mysteries of construction technique, the materials used, and the messages hidden beneath each slab and brick. How do you think ancient people managed to create such durable mortar and transport massive marble stones to build the Aghmat Palace platform? Share your thoughts in the comments below. First of all, Aghmat Palace platform is not merely a typical palace foundation. The scale of this platform reaches hundreds of square meters, fully paved with white marble, accented by black and gray slabs interspersed with segments using local limestone that has been chemically treated for exceptional durability. The entire palace foundation is designed with complex geometry, squares, concentric circles, and repeating bands of motifs based on fractal principles that could only have been devised by mathematical geniuses of the medieval era, even surpassing the knowledge of many civilizations of the same period. But the strangest feature is the way these stones fit together. There are no obvious seams, no traces of clumsy manual assembly. On the contrary, each stone slab, whether small or large, fits perfectly with its neighbors, so much so that a thin blade can hardly slip into the joints. Modern engineers, when analyzing these joins, have admitted, at certain points, the stone-fitting techniques at Agmat are equivalent to or even more sophisticated than those of the Inca wonders in South America. One of the most astonishing discoveries related to the Agmat Palace platform lies in its primary construction material, pure white marble with a quality on par with the famous marble quarries of Carrara in Italy or Almeria in Spain. Through spectrographic analysis and stone sample comparison, geologists determined that most of the paving stones did not come from any quarry around Marrakesh or North Africa, but rather from across the Mediterranean, possibly the Iberian Peninsula or Italy. This raises a major question: how did people in the past transport thousands of tons of rare and precious stone across seas, deserts, and countless dangers to build in an inland region? This enormous amount of stone, reaching hundreds of tons, required a highly sophisticated logistics system, teams of stonemasons, and transportation techniques far beyond what we usually imagine for a remote medieval civilization like Agmat. Some theories propose that only supreme powers who controlled vast trading networks and economic influence connecting West Africa, the Maghreb, and Andalusia could have accomplished this. Therefore, the palace platform is not merely the ground for a house, but also a declaration of power, a show of ancient wealth and transcontinental trade prowess. Moreover, when specialists analyzed samples of the mortar binding the stone blocks, they received astonishing results. The main ingredients were a mixture of burned limestone plant ash and a number of extremely rare organic minerals, including some components never before recorded in any Islamic construction materials of the era. Some researchers further suggest that Agmat's mortar contains traces of a special tree resin found only in the ancient forests of the Mediterranean or North Africa, mixed with additives that made it waterproof, rot-resistant, and impervious to termites. The most extraordinary quality is its adhesive strength, crack resistance, and near-perfect preservation across millennia. In certain sections, after nearly 1,000 years, the mortar still remains hard unraveled, free of mold, and especially resistant to erosion from groundwater or acid rain. These features have led modern chemists to wonder, did the ancients somehow create primitive nanomaterials, or did they inherit some lost secret from vanished civilizations? Another remarkable feature of the Agmat platform lies in its stone surface treatment. Under an electron microscope, the marble surface reveals an ultra-thin film containing silica and micro-minerals. This layer keeps the stone surface glossy, non-slippery when wet and resistant to dust accumulation, much like modern anti-stain treatments for glass. In addition, at crucial joint angles, the large stone blocks are stacked fitted with comb joints or locked with hidden stone tongues, a mechanical structure reminiscent of the mortise and tenon techniques used in ancient Japanese or Chinese carpentry. Seismic analysis shows that this stone platform can withstand medium-strength earthquakes without cracking or subsiding, a construction standard that was not commonly applied until the 19th or 20th century. The next mystery is in the transportation and assembly techniques. Thousands of stone slabs, each weighing several tons, were moved precisely to their positions and fitted together with an error margin of less than 1 millimeter. This required incredibly advanced lifting technologies or support mechanisms that even today remain unknown to us. Some fringe theory researchers believe the builders may have used pulley systems, oil-lubricated rollers, or even certain physical principles that have since been forgotten by history. On the surfaces of some of the largest slabs, there are evenly spaced scratch marks, evidence of dragging or lifting with thick ropes, yet no anchor points or through holes for pegs have been found, as are often seen in ancient Egyptian or Roman structures. In addition to its advanced materials and construction techniques, the Agmat Palace platform also holds many mysterious traces that have puzzled archaeologists for years. On the stone blocks, there are lines, dots, and spiral motifs that many researchers believe could be codes, religious symbols, or astronomical markers, not merely decoration. Notably, in some places, there are strange characters that do not belong to the Arabic Berber or Latin scripts, hinting at ancient lost Mediterranean civilizations. Moreover, some pieces of mosaic have come loose, revealing beneath them a second underlying layer of different material, which may once have been used to hide artifacts or secret documents. The Agmat platform is neither perpendicular nor parallel to the surrounding ruins, but skewed in relation to nearby mosques and ancient dwellings. This has led to theories that ancient architects aligned the platform according to the position of the sun major stars, or feng shui principles. Some experts believe that on certain days of the year, sunlight or shadow passes through the platform's joints in a single unique direction, possibly for timekeeping, marking festival seasons, or performing high religious rites. Furthermore, ground-penetrating radar has revealed small underground chambers, secret passageways, and empty spaces beneath the platform, possibly shelters, storerooms for precious items, or venues for clandestine rituals reserved for the elite. During excavations, archaeologists have, on several occasions, found strange metal objects that do not rust, shards of pottery bearing enigmatic symbols, and even animal bones belonging to species not present in modern Morocco. Notably, some chemical samples retrieved from beneath the platform have yielded no matches to any known natural compounds, adding further layers to its mystery. From a once famous center of trade scholarship and religion, Agmat gradually faded into the past as Marrakesh rose. Yet the palace platform still preserves traces of many generations and successive cultures. Some evidence even suggests that beneath the platform lie pre-Islamic ruins, reflecting a layered history of construction through various dynasties. Every stone and joint of the Agmat platform serves as a reminder of a glorious past and extraordinary creativity, while remaining a mystery that has yet to be fully solved to this day. Some ancient structures seem to defy every law of physics we know. Among them, the Maya Corbel Vault stands out as a marvel. No keystone, no supporting beams, no extra reinforcements yet. It endures for thousands of years through earthquakes, jungle storms, and the passage of time. What makes these stones lock together and resist gravity? Perhaps hidden behind these silent vaults lies the answer to Mesoamerica's greatest architectural mystery, a question the modern world still cannot solve. What do you think allowed the Maya Corbel vaults to withstand the test of time and gravity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Corbel vault is not a true vault in the classical sense. It is created by stacking stone blocks, with each layer protruding further inward than the one below, gradually closing the gap until only a small slit remains at the vault's apex. What is unusual is there is no keystone, as in Roman vaults, no load-bearing beam, and no use of temporary wooden scaffolding that could survive through centuries. Instead, large, roughly hewn stones are tightly fitted together using simple lime mortar, or sometimes none at all. Yet these structures are able to withstand their own tremendous weight, as well as the pressures of earthquakes, humidity, and tropical rainforests. Modern measurements show that Maya corbel vaults can withstand concentrated loads of several tens of tons without deforming. This is the art of force and balance. Each stone is placed in a precise position to channel force sideways rather than downward, allowing the entire vault to distribute weight evenly. Before the final stone is set, the vault is always at risk of collapsing. So how did the Maya ensure everything stayed in place until the very last moment? There are no written records, no clear evidence of scaffolding or supporting tools. This mystery remains intact. One strange fact discovered by modern construction experts is that many Maya corbel vaults are locked, meaning it is impossible to remove individual stones without bringing down the entire structure. Unlike a true vault, where the keystone can be removed to dismantle the structure piece by piece, the Maya corbel vault acts like a reverse domino puzzle. This proves that when completed, the entire system reached an absolute state of equilibrium, each stone simultaneously bearing and transmitting force with none that could be removed. Some scholars believe the Maya might have used temporary materials, wood scaffolding, to support the vault during construction, later removing them, yet there is no definitive archaeological evidence to support this. Even so, this solution does not explain how they managed to calibrate the structure so precisely that simply removing the temporary support would allow the vault to lock tightly without collapse. The absence of traces of auxiliary materials also shows that the Maya deliberately calculated the entire process of force transmission and deformation. Mesoamerica is a region prone to earthquakes, floods, and intense erosion due to the tropical climate. Yet Maya corbel vaults have remained nearly intact after centuries. This raises the question, what is so special about these building materials, or did the corbel design itself allow the structure to self-heal cracks and distribute force during earthquakes? Numerous studies show that when a strong shock occurs, the stones may shift slightly, but the overall vault remains stable. The gaps between the stones help dissipate energy, preventing it from being concentrated in a single spot, and thus avoiding chain collapse. In fact, the corbel vault even has the capacity to expand slightly in response to changes in temperature and humidity without causing structural failure. It is precisely this flexibility and tolerance that enables Maya corbel vaults to survive every natural disaster, something that many Roman or Gothic stone vaults in Europe cannot achieve. Compared to a true vault, the corbel vault has clear disadvantages. It cannot create rooms that are too wide, its height is limited, the walls must be thick to bear the load, and construction is extremely labor-intensive and time-consuming. Yet the Maya seem to have been absolutely faithful to this style, even though they were aware of the arch shape and had achieved great advances in other building techniques. Why is that? This is a profound mystery about their mindset and intentions. Many theories suggest the corbel vault was a conscious choice for religious reasons, as a symbol of power, or as a technical challenge to showcase the mastery of Maya engineers in controlling materials and forces. Sometimes it was the act of choosing the difficult path and challenging the laws of physics itself that the Maya pursued rather than mere convenience. It is notable that the corbel vault technique did not only appear among the Maya, but also in some other ancient cultures, Egypt, Mycenae. However, the Maya refined, scaled up, and perfected this technique to new heights. They built corbel vault corridors dozens of meters long, up to 10 or 12 meters high, carved deep into the hearts of pyramids, temples, and palaces. Strangely, there is no evidence of a transitional phase from corbel to true vault, even though the Maya were highly inventive and had indirect contact with other Central American civilizations. Perhaps for the Maya, the corbel vault was more than just a physical solution. It was the encoded philosophy of an independent existence, refusing to conform to any global standard. The corbel vault is not merely a feat of engineering, it is also a religious and artistic symbol. Many corbel vaults are exquisitely carved, simulating sacred caves and gateways to the divine world. Ceremonial rooms, tombs, and secret vaults often use corbel vaults as a shield protecting the soul and as the embodiment of supreme power. Hidden within the vaults are ventilation and drainage systems that show the Maya not only cared about aesthetics, but also possessed deep understanding of aerodynamics and hydraulics. This only adds further to the enigmatic sophistication of their scientific and technical capabilities. Despite extensive research, the origins and construction techniques of the Maya corbel vault remain a great mystery. How did they fit each stone so perfectly and distribute weight evenly without the need for support beams? Why did they persist with this challenging vault style instead of switching to true arches, and have all their building secrets been lost forever with the collapse of the Maya civilization? To this day, despite the efforts of modern science, these questions remain unanswered. The legacy of the Maya corbel vault is not only a technical achievement, but also proof of creativity and boundary-pushing thinking. These structures have defied gravity, time, and even modern human understanding. To this day, they remain a great mystery, a puzzle of physics, engineering, and art that has yet to be fully solved.